Are you ready for the ultimate Zarpado compilation facts? Subscribe and let's start. Zip stitch is one of those inventions that seems simple until you see it in action. Instead of stitching the skin, it uses an adhesive system with adjustable strips that quickly bring the edges of the wound together. The interesting thing is that it closes more cleanly and less invasively, and the tension can be adjusted as if you were turning a machine. Can you imagine how useful it is in emergencies or when you want to minimize wound manipulation? The bearded vulture doesn't improvise. It has an almost engineering technique. It soars up with large bones and drops them from a height to break them and access the marrow, which is the most nutritious part. What's incredible isn't just the strength, it's the precision and the practice, as if it knows exactly how much it needs to break the bone. In the Canary Islands, there's the Shepherd's Leap, and it's not just a tourist show. It's a real tradition for moving across impossible terrain. With a long pole, they support themselves, cushion their falls, propel themselves forward, and cross cliffs with pinpoint balance. Think of it this way. It's an ancient form of parkour with a tool that transforms the landscape into invisible steps. Fola David Tolaram created something that sounds unreal. The largest single drawing with a clear message: unity in diversity. The power lies in the contrast. A gigantic work made stroke by stroke, as if each line were a person and the whole were an entire community. Janil Park makes furniture that looks like cartoons, but it exists. With wire, he assembles tables, chairs, and objects that deceive the eye. They look like 2D sketches floating in the air, even though they are entirely three-dimensional. It's the kind of design that forces you to look twice, because your brain says, that can't be real. Storeljen in Norway is a steel moose about 33 feet tall with a mirror finish. Imposing, shiny, and almost surreal. The best part is that it's not just art. It also functions as a giant sign to alert drivers to slow down and be alert in areas where real moose cross the road. Patterned rollers are the legal loophole for feeling like an artist without being a muralist. You load the design, roll it once, and perfect geometric or decorative patterns appear. The beauty lies in the immediate effect. An ordinary wall becomes interior design without the need for endless stencils or a surgeon's steady hand. Elephant coffee sounds strange because it is. It's made with beans that have passed through the animal's digestive system, and the process changes the bean's profile. It's sold as a milder and more exclusive, and yes, quite expensive, infusion. The big question: would you try it out of curiosity, or does it seem too much? Big Boy is a beautiful case of rescue plus education, an elephant who ends up becoming a public figure to talk about conservation. It's not fame for fame's sake, it's using charisma to get people interested in habitats, threats, and real protection. Sometimes an animal becomes the perfect bridge between emotion and environmental awareness. The Weifang Ferris wheel seems like magic because it doesn't have a central axis like typical Ferris wheels. The cabins are arranged around a frame-like structure, offering 360 degrees views and a strange sensation, as if you were hanging from an engineering marvel. It's one of those things that makes you wonder, how does that thing stay up? A medium-sized cloud can weigh a ton or more, even though it floats. The key is that it's not a block. It's millions of microscopic droplets suspended in air currents. This fact shatters your intuition. Heavy doesn't always mean it falls when the environment supports and distributes it. The African hydnora is a plant that seems otherworldly. It lives underground, blooms in secret, and smells rotten to attract pollinating beetles. It's nature unfiltered. It doesn't seduce with perfume, it seduces with strategy. Disturbing? Yes. Effective? Also yes. Popeye, according to several popular stories, was inspired by a real sailor, Frank Rocky Fiegel. The beauty lies in how a flesh and blood character becomes a myth. strength, charisma, and that tough guy but noble vibe that ends up immortalized in a cartoon. Popcorn pops due to pure science. The kernel has internal moisture. When heated, the steam increases the pressure until the hull bursts. At that moment, the starch expands and turns inside out, forming that edible white sponge. It's literally a controlled mini explosion in your pan. Raynaud's syndrome is a very visual example of circulation. In episodes due to cold or stress, certain areas can turn white, then blue, and then red when blood flow returns. It's like a traffic light on the skin that shows how the body prioritizes and restricts blood flow to certain vessels at different times. The self-propelled modular transporter is like the Meccano set of heavy industry. Modular vehicles that combine to transport absurdly heavy loads with remote control or a cabin. What's impressive is the precision, moving giants without breaking anything around them, almost like surgery, but with tons. Esperance Luminesca is known for records related to tattoos and body modifications. Beyond the number, what's striking is the idea. The body as an archive, identity, and visible narrative. It's not just aesthetics, it's often a biography on the skin. In curling, sweeping the ice isn't cleaning, it's directing. By brushing, you change friction and the microlayer of water, and that alters the speed and trajectory of the stone. Simply put, you're not pushing the stone, you're drawing the path it will follow. Chris Roger works with blown glass with a brutal balance between delicacy and fire. What's hypnotic is watching something fragile emerge from such an extreme process. Heat, air, rotation, perfect timing. A second changes everything. The red banana is often described as sweeter and with a distinct flavor than the typical yellow one. It's one of those reminders that one fruit can be a universe of varieties. Same name, completely different experience. In Huangluo, China, many women maintain a tradition famous for their extremely long hair. It's not just a record, it's culture, identity, a passed-down custom. For them, hair is family history, aesthetics, and ritual all at once. Branding cattle with liquid nitrogen is a modern method that uses extreme cold to leave a visible mark, sometimes causing the hair to grow white in that area. It's marketed as a faster and less stressful alternative in certain conditions. Masi Kurin is known for having extremely long legs. One exceeds 53 inches. This fact is surprising because it changes the scale of the everyday. What for one person is a step, for another is half a journey. SpaceX's Starship underwent tests where it achieved impressive maneuvers, and on some occasions, there was a controlled landing or descent followed by failure or explosion due to technical problems, such as leaks. It's a classic case of almost. When you're pushing technology to its limits, success and disaster can be separated by mere seconds. Regarding Kylie Jenner, she's been mentioned extensively in the media for her fortune and for being one of the youngest billionaires associated with the world of personal branding. Beyond the exact figure, what's interesting is the phenomenon, turning attention into an industry. Audrey Hepburn's dress from Breakfast at Tiffany's became a historical artifact. It was auctioned for an enormous sum, usually cited as being over $9,000,000. It's proof that an object can be valued for what it represents: cinema, an era, a cultural icon. Leptopoma perlucidum is a very rare snail due to its unusual combination of features on land, gills, and an operculum. It lives in lowland areas of Indonesia and the Philippines, and its existence reminds us that nature doesn't respect our categories. It mixes traits, and that's it. The Gouldian finch looks painted. Vibrant colors, blues, greens, oranges, that seem edited but are real. It's one of those birds that, when you see it, you understand why people are obsessed with natural beauty. Yes, there is a green sand beach, Papacolia, in Hawaii. What's fascinating is that it's not dyed sand. It's geology, minerals, and natural processes that end up creating a color that seems like a fantasy. In 1954, Roger Bannister ran the mile in under 4 minutes, and that changed the history of the sport. The craziest thing is the psychological effect. For years, it seemed impossible until someone does it, and suddenly the mental barrier is shattered for everyone else. In the Maldives, sometimes the sea shines as if it has stars. It's bioluminescence from plankton. Watching each wave light up is an almost surreal experience, as if the water responds to your every step with light. In China, the Dragon Boat Festival is one of those celebrations where history becomes spectacle. Races of long boats decorated like dragons, drums marking the rhythm, and the air filled with team cheers. And then comes the delicious part, zongzi, little bundles of glutinous rice wrapped in dough, sometimes sweet and sometimes savory. All of this is done in honor of the poet Kuo Yuan. Is it a festival, a tribute, a tradition, or all three at once? Paper pop-ups seem like cheap magic. Until you try them, you open a page and suddenly a 3D structure appears, born from the book with folds, cuts, and tabs. The amazing thing is that it's not just decoration, it's miniature engineering, where every fold has a function. How can something so fragile hold such precise shapes? Anton is the kind of creator who picks up a skateboard and asks himself, what if I make it out of glass? What if I use recycled wood? What if I turn it into a mobile experiment? His inventions go viral because they blend risk, creativity, and curiosity. And they also leave you wondering how much of what seemed impossible was just a matter of habit. A gas-powered robot that fills your tank without you having to get out of your car sounds like science fiction, but it already exists. It opens the cap, attaches the hose, and fills it for you. The craziest thing isn't just the convenience, but the concept. Stations where the human hand is replaced by an automated system, as if the future has arrived in the most everyday way. During World War II, conversions took place that seem dystopian today. Metals for domestic and civilian use ended up as weapons, and vice versa. Seeing helmets converted into cooking pots, or parts reused as needed, shows how in war the priority is survival and production, even if the symbolism is distorted. A washing machine converted into an aquarium? Yes, the internal mechanism is removed, it's sealed, the glass is fitted, and suddenly you have a fish tank shaped like a household appliance. The fun part is the contrast. Something designed to rotate and clean ends up being a peaceful home for fish, like a humorous piece of recycling. Automatic car sunshades are like a giant personal umbrella. They unfold quickly to protect from the sun and heat, as if your vehicle were putting on a hat by itself. The idea is practical. Less internal temperature, less suffering when getting back in the car, and a rather striking look. Afshin Esmail Ghaderzadeh is 25.69 inches tall and was recognized as the shortest living man in the world with mobility. The fact is impressive, but what's most striking is thinking about daily life. Everything, doors, steps, chairs, is made for a different scale. How does the world change when the world wasn't designed for your size? The mechanical golden horse is a sculpture that simulates a real gallop. It doesn't just look like it's moving, it is. And therein lies the charm. When art incorporates kinetics, it becomes hypnotic because your eye knows it's metal, but your brain processes it as life. In Japan, there are bars where you pay to be slapped by a stranger. It sounds absurd, but that's precisely where the strangeness lies. Some interpret it as catharsis, performance art, or an unscripted experience. The inevitable question, tradition, fashion, or simple curiosity taken to the extreme. Some stores lock the wheels of shopping carts if they cross certain boundaries. It's a simple solution to a classic problem: shopping carts lost in the neighborhood or thefts. What's interesting is how technology is applied to modify behavior. No one is chasing you. The cart decides for you and stops. Penterophobia is the irrational fear of mothers-in-law. It may sound like a joke, but in some people, it manifests as real anxiety. Family gatherings, dinners, comments, and the body reacts as if there were danger. How much of that fear is cultural? How much personal? And how much an emotional trigger? The pill cam looks like an ordinary capsule, but it's a camera. You swallow it, and it takes pictures of your digestive tract as it goes down. It's a less invasive alternative for looking inside without tubes. And the idea is brilliant in its simplicity, turning your own body into the exploration route. The tumble-rot pigeons of Budapest attract attention with their giant, cartoonish eyes. A curious phenomenon emerges here. Sometimes nature or selective breeding creates such exaggerated features that they clash with what we expect from a common animal, making them impossible to ignore. In Japan, there are staircases that transform into platforms for transporting people in wheelchairs. It's a design conceived for real accessibility. The staircase ceases to be a barrier and becomes a mechanical aid. It makes no noise, but it changes lives. The largest ball of human hair weighs 225.14 pounds. Yes, more than 100 pounds of hair collected through donations over time. The strangest thing isn't the record, but the mental effect. Something everyday and disposable transformed into a grotesque and fascinating monument. David Grunges transforms scrap metal into sculptures. Old iron, loose pieces, industrial remnants, and suddenly a figure with presence emerges. What's captivating is the message. What seemed like trash becomes art, and recycling ceases to be a concept and becomes a visual impact. The Google Maps backpack is a brilliant solution. It captures 360 degrees images in places where cars can't go, like paths, stairs, alleyways, or mountains. It essentially turns a person into a street view vehicle and reminds you how much logistics go into something we use in seconds. Irwin sculptures with fat cars seem like a joke, but they're often social commentary disguised as caricature. The distortion exaggerates what already exists: consumption, excess, comfort, identity attached to objects. You laugh at first, and then the question remains. Little Island in New York looks like a fairy tale park floating on the Hudson. Tulip-shaped columns, undulating paths, and greenery everywhere. The appeal lies in the combination: nature, architecture, and urban stroll, as if the city were giving itself permission to play. Swimming in a pool 492 feet high with a glass floor? It exists. The idea triggers vertigo even just reading the description. More than a pool, it's an experience designed to make your body say no and your curiosity say yes. In Japan, every spring, more than 5 million blue Nemophila flowers can cover Hitachi Park like a sea of azure. It's one of those landscapes that looks like it's been edited. The horizon bursts into color and the sky almost competes with the ground. Squid Game 2 had an explosive launch. It reportedly reached 68 million views in just 4 days, breaking Netflix premiere records. Beyond the numbers, what's interesting is how a series becomes a global event. Memes, conversation, and that social pressure of, you have to see it. Butterflies don't have lungs. They breathe through tracheae, a network of tiny tubes that carries oxygen directly to the tissues. It's incredible because it forces us to reimagine life. Without inhaling or exhaling like us, they still fly, migrate, and survive with a completely different system. There's a photo of a sloth and its baby sleeping in such a strange position that it looks like they're hanging in midair. The funny thing is that, for them, that's absolute comfort, a body adapted to living suspended as if gravity were optional. Did you imagine that manufacturing a pair of Beats headphones could cost very little compared to their retail price? Estimates circulate that speak of extremely low figures, and that's where the real issue arises. You're not just paying for materials, you're paying for the brand, marketing, distribution, and profit margin. A macro photo of a snowflake is a beautiful reminder. each one can have a unique geometry, like a microscopic carved jewel. What's hypnotic is that the symmetry seems designed, but it's actually physics and crystallization playing with temperature and humidity. And yes, there are dogs trained as lifeguards, capable of jumping into the water even from helicopters during rescue training. What's impressive isn't just the training, but the trust, animal and human functioning as a true team with discipline and purpose. On the Hawaiian island of Oahu, there's an extinct volcanic cone called Diamond Point, and the craziest thing is that inside and around the crater, you can still see remnants of fortifications and military structures related to coastal defense. You walk through a picture postcard landscape, and suddenly you're surrounded by tunnels, bunkers, and control stations. MotoGP bikes can lean at seemingly impossible angles without crashing. More than 60 degrees in a corner isn't uncommon, and even greater lean angles have been documented in extreme conditions. Think of it this way. The limit isn't just the rider, it's also the tire, the temperature, and physics shouting at each other. Airplane toilet waste isn't simply thrown away as you might imagine. It's extracted using a suction and vacuum system, with hoses connected to special trucks on the ground as the plane lands. It's a quick, sealed, and highly choreographed procedure because nobody wants it to go wrong. There's a robot called Prayer that autonomously writes and prays, created as an art piece to make you think about spirituality in times of automation. The uncomfortable question is a great one. If a machine recites a perfect prayer, is it still a prayer? The spiny flower mantis camouflages itself so brilliantly among flowers that it literally looks like a petal with legs, and this trick makes it invisible to both prey and predators. Moreover, when disturbed, it can act by opening its wings and displaying patterns to scare off predators. And yes, there's a photo of a slug escaping from the mouth of a carnivorous plant, like a slow-motion action scene from the plant world. The best part is that it makes you think, even in nature's menu, sometimes there are exceptions. Your eyebrows are much thicker than they appear. It's common to hear about hundreds of hairs per eyebrow. Many sources mention around 250 on average, although it can vary. In other words, they're not just decorations, they're a system for deflecting sweat, dust, and light. Can you believe that Shakira was rejected from her school choir because her vibrato sounded like a goat? It sounds like a joke until you remember how often talent arrives in a strange state before it's polished. Did you know that sea turtles cry? It's not sadness. They secrete excess salt through glands near their eyes, and that's why they appear to tear up when they're on land. It's their way of living in the ocean without the salt destroying them from the inside. In Svalbard, Norway, summer brings midnight sun when the sun doesn't set for months, and winter becomes its opposite, periods without sunrise. You live amidst auroras, twilight, and seasons that seem otherworldly. Eyelashes don't last forever. Each one has its own cycle, and it's common for them to live around 100 to 150 days before falling out and being replaced. That's why you're always losing some without ever going bald. Does it sound absurd that someone sold Splash Mountain water for thousands? It happened. There were highly commented posts about the game's water being sold as both a collectible and a meme. The unsettling thing is that there's always someone willing to pay for a piece of history, even if it's liquid. Carom is like billiards crossed with shuffleboard. A wooden board, pucks, a striker, and pure finger aim. The addictive thing is that it seems simple until you try to get a piece in precisely and realize it's chess of reflexes. The Komodo dragon is the largest lizard on the planet and can weigh about 154 pounds in the wild and even more in exceptional cases. It's not just a big bug, it's an apex predator with a modern-day dinosaur presence. In Asia, some dishes are cooked by submerging them in hot sand or even hot salt. The material is heated in a giant wok, and the food is buried in it to cook evenly. It's street food with thermal science in disguise. The Great Sphinx of Giza didn't lose its nose to a cannonball from Napoleon, even though that story is very popular. There are already records and earlier drawings that show it without a nose. The reality is sadder. Human damage, centuries of mistreatment, and accumulated mystery. Dragonflies are hunting machines. Studies mention that they can have extremely high success rates, close to 95%. Incredible eyes, incredibly precise aerial maneuvers, and aim that seems like autopilot. Did you know that owls can fly almost silently? It's not magic. Their feathers have special edges and textures that break the airflow and dampen the sound. That's why, when they attack, the victim hardly even notices. The sun is so gigantic that by volume, about 1.3 million Earths could fit inside it. It's such an absurd number that it leaves you with only one reaction. We are a crumb. Tanya Herbert holds the record for the largest female feet ever recorded. Her right foot measures 13.03 inches. What's impressive isn't just the statistic, but the logistical world behind it. Shoes, sizes, special orders, everything. The brittle star looks like an alien creature. It's related to starfish, but with long, flexible arms that move like snakes. And because its arms are so independent, watching it move is a little creepy, in a good way. A cockroach can withstand enormous pressure relative to its size. Forces of hundreds of times its body weight have been measured, reaching nearly 900 times in certain experimental contexts. That's why squashing one isn't always as easy as you might think. At 18, it's often said that Mike Tyson already had a neck with a circumference of around 19.7 inches. Something key for absorbing blows without losing stability. And although it sounds like a legendary fact, it makes biomechanical sense. A strong neck means a more stable head. Half-black tigers, also called pseudo-melanistic tigers, are not simply fewer than 10 in the world. The condition is rare globally, yes, but in the Similipal Reserve in India, it is surprisingly common due to a shared mutation in a small population. It's the kind of rarity that suddenly speaks to you about genetics and conservation. Consider this. In 1973, an anti-tank grenade was designed in the exact shape of an American football, so that the throw would be natural, with spin and all, as if you were throwing a long pass. The idea was to turn a sporting gesture into a tactical advantage, even though it sounds like science fiction. There are spiders that look like they're made of enamel and LED lights. The Brazilian jewel tarantula, Typhoclena celadonia, has metallic reflections and intense colors that look like paint, but they are real. And the craziest thing is that, despite being striking, it is small and difficult to see in its habitat if you don't know exactly where to look. Kangaroos don't just hop, they also swim better than you might imagine. In the water, they move with surprising efficiency, and their tail helps them stabilize and steer their bodies as they move forward, like a natural rudder. In South Korea, some urban trees receive treatment like patients. There have been cases where bags of saline solution, like IV fluids, are placed on them to hydrate and help trees stressed by heat, pests, or pollution recover. It's literally medicine. But for tree trunks, if the landscapes of Avatar seemed impossible to you, it makes sense. Zhangjiajie in China became famous because its rock formations inspired those floating mountains, and they even renamed a peak to capitalize on the phenomenon. Nature creating concept art before Hollywood. Water jet cutting machines are one of those things that seem like a trick. Water at extremely high pressure, sometimes with abrasive, cutting metal, glass, or wood with surgical precision. It's as if the water becomes an invisible saw. Movie fact: Darth Vader didn't have his final voice on set. The actor who physically portrayed him, David Prowse, spoke the lines during filming, but the iconic voice we know was recorded later by James Earl Jones. Have you seen those cups that fill from the bottom? There are systems where the cup rests on a base that opens a valve at the bottom and fills it in seconds, perfect for stadiums and massive events. Fast, clean, almost magical. The Gore is a real giant, one of the largest wild bovines in the world, known for being strong, territorial, and not easily intimidated. It's not just a big cow. It's a biological tank with a bad temper if you invade its space. And yes, that kind of space pareidolia exists. Photos of the lunar surface where a formation looks like a reclining bear. The funny thing is that your brain constructs it in a second, as if it needed to find life even in a rock. There are public restrooms with glass walls in China. Yes, transparent or semi-transparent. The idea attracts attention, makes you a little uncomfortable, and precisely for that reason, discourages certain behaviors, although not everyone dares to use them with complete peace of mind. A trend for natural disasters? It sounds strange, but the concept works. Clothing designed to withstand fire, water, impacts, wind, and then sold as a fashion show. The question is inevitable. Is it a useful design or a reflection of our modern anxieties? The paramedic with a jetpack isn't just a rumor. Jet suits have been tested for mountain rescue, capable of reducing arrival times from hours to minutes in impossible terrain, literally flying to provide first aid. And if you want a dose of surrealism, a cat parade made with AI. It's the kind of video that makes you wonder whether to laugh, be scared, or share it immediately. In New York, there's a penthouse that was promoted as the tallest in the world by height above ground. The one in Central Park Tower, Nordstrom Tower, at the top of the skyscraper, was listed for around $250 million and at an approximate height of 1,416 feet. The platypus and the echidna are so unusual that they don't even have a conventional stomach. Monotremes have lost several functions typical of an acidic stomach, and their digestive system is different from that of most modern mammals. Ants in many species don't sting as one might think. They first bite to gain a foothold and then apply irritants, like formic acid, to finish the attack. 2 steps: grip and chemistry. Pikachu has historical consistency. Its voice has been provided by the same actress Ikue Otani since 1997. That is, entire generations have heard the same original, Pika Pika. The white-tailed deer is an athlete. It can clear fences and obstacles with enormous leaps. When you see it in motion, you understand why it's so difficult to keep up with it in the bush. Ocean 1K is a robotic diver designed to explore the depths with 3D vision and precise manipulation, as if it had hands underwater. The idea is to go to places where a human cannot reach, but with human sensitivity. In Coober Pedy, Australia, many people live underground, cave houses, dugouts that serve as escapes from the extreme desert heat. It's climate survival turned into a lifestyle. Hurling is like nothing and everything at the same time. A lightning-fast Irish sport with a stick hurley and a ball, sliotar, that mixes collisions, technique, and brutal speed. Seeing it for the first time makes you think, is this legal? The Kokonoi-Yume Bridge in Japan became famous for being one of the longest pedestrian suspension bridges in the country, spanning some 1,280 feet over a dizzying landscape. It's not just crossing it, it's taking your breath away. Toucans use their beaks as air conditioners. Studies have shown that the beak functions as a controllable thermal radiator, helping to release heat when needed. An integrated biological fan. The Vasconcelos Library in Mexico City looks like a futuristic forest. Suspended bookshelves, steel, glass, and that feeling that the books are floating on a giant skeleton. It's a library, but also a visual experience. The Pop. Up next was a modular taxi concept, part ground, part air, as if a car could attach to a giant drone. More than a finished product, it was an idea to imagine how a city would move if traffic could take off. Borobudur in Java, Indonesia, is a historical marvel. It's recognized as the world's largest Buddhist temple, a carved stone mountain that resembles a 3D spiritual map. Regarding the human body, we often say about 9.8 gallons of water. But the important thing is the idea. Most of the body is water, approximately 60% in adults, and the exact number changes depending on weight, age, and composition. It's still impressive to think of it in gallons. Millie Bobby Brown was born in Marbella, Spain, and then moved as a child. It's one of those facts that surprises you because your brain automatically places her somewhere else. Since 2017, Seattle has held a T-Rex race with those inflatable costumes, people running around like clumsy dinosaurs and still competing seriously. It's ridiculous and brilliant at the same time. And the last one is more of a social trick than hard science. Many say that stall 1-inch the bathroom is usually cleaner because people avoid it since it's too visible or close to the door. A universal rule? No. A recurring human pattern? Quite possible. The giant centipede is a type of centipede, a myriapod, that lives in the lowlands of Venezuela, Colombia, and also in the southern Caribbean, like Trinidad. What's most impressive isn't just its size, it's that feeling of a prehistoric animal moving with complete confidence, as if the ground belonged to it. Can you imagine seeing it cross a dry leaf at night and barely hearing that tiny rustle? In Hong Kong, there was a place that seemed almost unreal, Kowloon Walled City. It was like a city within a city, stacked vertically, with buildings so close together that light filtered in only in slivers. Sometimes I think it was more of an organism than a neighborhood. Corridors, staircases, hidden corners, and everything functioning in its own way. How could you not get lost there when every turn led you to another world on top of the previous one? In Norway, there's Hedel Church, considered the largest wooden church of its kind, built in the early 8th century. I love it because it doesn't feel like an ordinary building. It resembles an old ship converted into a temple, with that almost imaginary smell of old wood and centuries preserved within. How did they manage to make something like that survive for so long in such a harsh climate? And something that always surprises, the human brain is approximately 60% fat. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Because we associate it with pure intelligence, and yet it's largely made of a material that no one would normally celebrate. But therein lies the trick, that fat performs essential functions, and without it, we literally don't think the same way. Yazd in Iran is famous for its wind towers, the badgirs. Basically, they're a kind of ancient air conditioner, structures designed to trap air and direct it downwards, cooling buildings without electricity. When I discovered how they work, I got that feeling of, this is technology, but centuries ahead of its time. In India, during weddings, many brides decorate their hands and feet with henna designs, mehendi. It's not just decoration, it's often laden with symbolism, patience, and ritual. It's mesmerizing to watch the design being created line by line. Do you ever look at those patterns and find it hard to believe it's just ink? Villa Oleandra on Lake Como, Italy, is known for being George Clooney's property and for its picture-perfect aesthetic. Immaculate gardens, tranquil water, and an environment that seems designed for unwinding. I always wonder what it feels like to wake up to that view. Does it bring you peace or make you feel like you're living in a postcard? Another classic misconception: shooting stars aren't stars. They're bits of rock or space dust that enter the atmosphere at high speed and burn up, leaving that bright trail. In other words, what you see is a momentary fire in the air. Isn't it a little crazy to think you're making a wish in front of a burning rock? Apples float because they have air inside, tiny cavities that make them less dense than water. It's simple and magical at the same time. It seems like a trick, but it's pure physics hidden in an everyday fruit. The Irish wolfhound is one of the largest dogs in the world. It can reach up to about 35 inches at the wither's end. Moreover, has that gentle giant presence. Sometimes you see one and think it should be intimidating, but often its expression is more that of a calm philosopher than a fierce guardian. The exoplanet WASP-12b is so extreme that gravity and tidal forces deform it, which is why it is often described as egg-shaped. When I first read about it, I was left thinking, if a planet can stretch like Play-Doh, then space is much less rigid than we imagine. The helical bridge in Choluteca, Honduras, is one of those designs that makes you do a double take. Its spiral shape is not arbitrary. It is designed to better withstand phenomena like hurricanes and earthquakes. Who would have thought that a well-designed curve could be stronger than a straight line? The mountain oropendola is a fascinating bird from Central America that builds nests like hanging bags, suspended from branches. It's not just pretty, it's natural engineering. How do they learn to weave like that without it falling apart in the wind? A hummingbird's heart can beat up to 1,260 times per minute. It's so fast it seems like a tiny living engine. Every time I think about it, I'm amazed that such a small animal has such a high-performance system and yet looks so delicate. The BMW logo is commonly associated with Bavaria. Those colors evoke the Bavarian flag and the identity of the place where the brand was born. It's curious how a circle with colors can become a recognizable sign in any country, like a visual language. Borja and Alvaro Garcia, two brothers who are European champions in futsal, are famous for their incredible coordination. They seem to play with one mind. I love those pairings because they make you wonder, is it pure practice, or is there a connection that isn't fully trained? In Portugal, there's only one national park, Peneda Gerais. That alone makes it special, but it's also a place of green landscapes, villages, waterfalls, and truly wild nature. Doesn't it make you want to get lost there for a couple of days without a watch? Sharks don't have bones. Their skeleton is made of cartilage. That makes them lighter and more flexible in the water, as if nature had chosen less weight, more efficiency. Conor McGregor, in addition to being a fighter, ventured into the world of whiskey with his brand Proper No 12. It's one of those rare intersections between sports and business that ultimately become pop culture, fights, fame, and suddenly a bottle. Xie Qi Yuping, a Chinese woman, held the Guinness World Record for the longest hair, over about 18.4 feet in 2004. What's incredible isn't just the length, but the daily discipline. Can you imagine what it takes to maintain it without it becoming impossible? Harper's Bazaar is one of the oldest magazines, founded in 1867 in the United States. The fact that it still exists when the world has changed so many times shows you how powerful a cultural brand can be. Muay Thai from Thailand is known as the art of 8 limbs because it uses fists, elbows, knees, and legs. It's a style that feels very real. It doesn't aim to look good, it aims to be effective. Have you ever watched a serious workout? It takes your breath away just watching it. The Jerusalem artichoke, tupinambo, is a tuber similar to a potato, but with a sweeter flavor and a crunchy texture. I like it because many people don't know it, and yet it's there, waiting for someone to discover it on a plate. In Norway, Trollstigen, the Troll Road, winds through mountains in Møre og Romsdal. It's a route famous for its curves and viewpoints, one of those roads that seems designed to let the scenery win you over. Would you dare drive it in the fog? Before founding Ferrari, Enzo Ferrari was a driver and sporting director at Alfa Romeo, and then went through stages that led him to create his own company. I'm fascinated by that idea. Someone who first trains inside the beast and then builds their own. You can now train tennis with robots. There's Esther, a human-scale training robot. This is science fiction made real. And it leaves you with a question. If you train with a machine that never gets tired, does your improvement accelerate or does it frustrate you? Strawberries can have more vitamin C than oranges. It's one of those facts that changes a fixed idea. You think orange equals vitamin C, And it turns out that the red fruit quietly is a strong contender. Before he was Mario, the Donkey Kong character was called Jumpman and was a carpenter, and the name Mario came from a Nintendo landlord in the US, Mario Segale. I love it because it shows how a global icon can be born from a coincidence. It's estimated that there are around 3 trillion trees on the planet, and even so, when you think about what is lost each year, the number ceases to be reassuring. It's like knowing you have a lot, but not infinitely many. What would become of the world if that count started to plummet? The Swiss school La Rosée, known as the School of Kings, is a luxury school associated with very wealthy families and prominent lineages. It's not just about education. It's about social networking, connections, tradition, a world apart. When you see dust illuminated by light, you're often seeing tiny pieces of skin floating in the air. It's a rather unpleasant fact, yes, but it also reminds you that the air isn't empty. It's full of life and invisible remains. On the island of Java, Indonesia, Mount Bromo often emits smoke from its crater, creating a mysterious scene as if the landscape were breathing. I saw pictures and felt that mixture of beauty and awe. It's beautiful, but it reminds you that it's alive. The red kangaroo is the largest land mammal in Australia and can reach high speeds up to around 40 miles per hour with incredibly long leaps. It's an animal that seems designed to win races on its own turf. The name Pink Floyd was created from 2 blues musicians, Pink Anderson and Floyd Council. I think it's brilliant. A name that sounds psychedelic and gigantic, born from a simple tribute. In Italy, the Palio di Siena is a horse race held twice a year in the Piazza del Campo. More than a sport, it's about neighborhood identity, rivalry, and tradition. You know when an event becomes almost a local religion? In Hawaii, hula is a traditional dance that combines gestures, songs, and music to tell stories and sustain the culture. It's not just a dance, it's a language. When you understand it that way, every movement becomes a phrase. There's a snake that looks like a banana because of its yellow color with dark spots, and it fools more than one person at first glance in the jungle. The curious thing is that, despite its striking appearance, it's not venomous and is usually harmless to humans. Can you imagine the fright of mistaking it for a fruit? Contact lenses are manufactured by injecting liquid hydrogel into very precise molds and then giving them their final shape with pressure and controlled processes. Thinking that something so small and soft comes from such precise manufacturing is almost hypnotic. And I loved this one when I discovered it. The oldest chewing gum ever found is over 9,000 years old. It was made with tree resin and, according to accounts, may have been sweetened with natural honey. In other words, people millennia ago already had their own version of chewing something for leisure, out of habit, or even for medicinal purposes. Contrary to what its name suggests, the white rhinoceros isn't white. It usually looks gray, and many people experience a moment of surprise when they see it for the first time. And since we're on the subject of rhinoceroses, did you know that its horn isn't bone? It's made of keratin, the same material as our fingernails and hair. Suddenly, that giant animal seems a little more relative, doesn't it? In the ocean, there's a sprinter that looks like it belongs in a video game. The sailfish, often mentioned as the fastest in the sea, capable of reaching speeds of nearly 68 miles per hour in short bursts. And that makes me wonder, if we struggle to run 12 miles per hour, what does the world look like when you move 5 times faster, but underwater? I was also struck by the bit about diets. It's often said that India has one of the highest rates of vegetarianism, but the exact number can vary greatly depending on how it's measured, what's considered vegetarian, surveys, region, etc. In other words, the general idea is true, but the precise percentage isn't always as simple as it seems. Has it ever happened to you that you love a statistic and then discover that it depends on how you look at it? Apple's first logo is a historical gem. It wasn't the minimalist apple, but a more classic illustration with Isaac Newton under a tree. It's as if the brand was saying from the beginning, this is about ideas that suddenly come to you. And speaking of trees, an average tree can produce an enormous number of pencils. A figure of around 170,000 is often cited. It makes me laugh to think about it, a single trunk becoming thousands and thousands of potential stories. The Savannah cat is another curious breed that seems almost made up. It's a hybrid, the result of crossing a serval with a domestic cat, originating in the 1980s. It has that unusual mix of elegant cat and miniature wild cat. Do you see it more as a pet or as an animal that still retains a touch of the jungle in its gaze? Regarding restaurants, here's a fact that keeps changing. McDonald's remains one of the world's giants in terms of the number of locations, with more than 4,3,000 restaurants globally, according to recent reports from the company itself. And the funny thing is that many people automatically assume it's number one, but in some rankings by number of branches, it might appear second. Does it surprise you that the world is so franchise-dependent? Devendra Suthar became very well known for being born with polydactyly, more fingers than usual, and is often referred to as having 28 fingers. It's one of those cases that makes you think about how incredibly variable the human body can be, and how something so unexpected ends up becoming part of your public identity. The most famous verified human longevity record belongs to Jean Calment at 122 years and 164 days. That blows my mind. What does it feel like to watch the world change for over a century? What things become normal when you live that long? Another story I love for its symbolism. The Pacific Ocean was named by Ferdinand Magellan for its calm appearance when he crossed it in 1520, peaceful as a synonym for serene. And that makes you laugh a little, because anyone who has read about the Pacific knows that it can also be brutal. How many things do we name after a good day we had with them? San Marino is often presented as one of the oldest states still in existence, with its founding traditionally dated to 301 AD. And it's precisely this blend of history, myth, and continuity that makes it fascinating. It's like a piece of the past that refused to disappear. Otters have a strategic tenderness. Sometimes they hold hands while they sleep so they don't separate from the group. And yes, this makes you want to say, they can't be that cute. Can you imagine waking up and confirming that your team is still there, literally clinging to you? With Russia, there's a number worth keeping in mind. Its total area is about 660,1670 square miles, making it the largest country in the world by area. It's so large that percentages are sometimes exaggerated. For example, it's not 10% of the Earth's land surface, but it does occupy an enormous portion compared to any other country. Ants also play in the league of the minuscule. They are said to be able to carry minute volumes of liquid in microliters in their abdomens. This kind of fact reminds you that the small world has its own physics and its own scales. Nikolai Valuev was a boxing monster in terms of size. He is known as one of the tallest and heaviest heavyweights to compete at the highest level, weighing in at about 331 pounds. Seeing him next to other boxers seems almost unfair, as if they had mixed weight classes by mistake. And yes, the famous "you can't fold a piece of paper more than 7 times" is usually true for a normal sheet of paper folded by hand. But more than an absolute law, it's a practical limit. It's not that the universe forbids the 8th fold, it's that the thickness, size, and strength of your hands say this far and no further. The Hollywood sign also has its own secret. It originally read Hollywoodland when it was erected in 1923, and the land was removed in 1949. So it wasn't a recent change, but a decision made many decades ago. Isn't it amazing how an advertising sign ends up becoming a global cultural symbol? There's a very curious idea about the perception of time in animals. Those with fast metabolisms, like flies or hummingbirds, process stimuli more quickly, and their world may feel faster, while animals with slower metabolisms might experience something more paused. It's not that they have an internal clock like ours, but it does change how much detail they capture per second. Cats have more bones than we do, around 230 compared to our 206. That explains quite well that feline talent for contorting themselves as if they were made of liquid. In Japan, there's a service called renting company. People who offer themselves as friends to go out, eat, or go to the movies. It's a mix of modernity, urban loneliness, and a bizarre business that leaves you wondering, is it sad, practical, or both? The Atacama Desert is famous for being hyper-arid, with areas where extremely long periods without rain have been recorded. It's a landscape that seems otherworldly, and for that very reason, it's often used as a Martian analogy. Goats' eyes are another oddity. Their rectangular pupils allow them to have an extremely wide field of vision, ideal for detecting predators. It's as if they came with a built-in panoramic screen. The moon is moving away from the Earth at about 1.5 inches per year, measured with reflectors installed by the Apollo missions. But beware of the dramatic part. It doesn't mean it's going to disappear from the sky anytime soon. These changes are extremely slow, and long before something like that happens, the sun will have radically altered its own trajectory. Beavers are veritable machines. They can fell trees with teeth that function like chisels at a rate that seems impossible for an animal. And when you see what they build, the inevitable question arises. Who taught them architecture, or how do they know it without knowing it? The largest confirmed impact crater on Earth, Vredefort in South Africa, is gigantic. It's estimated to be hundreds of miles across if you consider its entire structure. It's the kind of fact that makes you feel small. The Earth has enormous scars, only time has managed to disguise them. In Japan, there's a scene that seems straight out of a peaceful film, Toro Nagashi, when lit paper lanterns are set afloat on rivers or the sea. The idea is deeply symbolic. The lights help guide the spirits of the ancestors, especially in the context of Obon, and that's why it's usually celebrated in summer. Can you imagine the silence of the water and thousands of tiny points of light slowly drifting away like memories you don't want to let go of? And if you're drawn to the beauty of a single day, let me introduce you to Hanami, the Japanese tradition of gathering in spring to admire the cherry blossoms, sakura. Many people have picnics, chat, take photos, but the heart of the ritual is something else entirely. Looking at something precious that fades quickly and accepting that fact without feeling sad. Don't you find that when something is brief, it feels more intense? Another celebration I love for its simplicity and power is Tanabata, the Star Festival. People write wishes on strips of paper called tanzaku and hang them on bamboo branches. I discovered some time ago that it's not just about making wishes, it's also about seeing them there, hanging, as if the air could arrange them. What would you write if you knew the sky would read it? In Iceland, the phrase 10% believe in elves is widely circulated. But when you look at surveys and well-known articles, something even more curious emerges. It's not always a matter of believe yes or no, but rather leaving the possibility open. For example, there are polls where a significant portion of Icelanders say that it could be or that they don't rule it out, and others where the percentage of believe hovers around a third. And there the question is inevitable. Is it a literal belief or a cultural way of respecting the mysterious? In Mongolia, the traditional nomadic house is the jur. Many outside the country call it a yurt, a circular, portable dwelling designed to be assembled, disassembled, and withstand the harsh climate. They describe it as a home that moves with you, not the other way around. Can you imagine having a house that you can fold and carry, as if your neighborhood were the landscape? Snails also come with a fact that sounds unbelievable. They have thousands of microscopic teeth on a structure called a radula, a kind of ribbon they use to scrape food. It's often said that they have up to 14000, but what is certain is that we're talking about thousands. This makes me laugh because it completely changes the image. On the outside, they're slow and cute, and on the inside, they have a feeding tool that seems like something out of science fiction. Speaking of extreme luxury, the Rolls-Royce La Rose Noire Droptail is frequently mentioned as one of the most expensive new cars in the world, with a rumored or estimated price above $30 million. And here's where the fun question arises. When something costs that much, are you buying a car or a work of art on wheels? And I'll close with an iconic figure. Naomi Campbell made history with Vogue covers, but the important detail is which Vogue and in what year. In August 1988, she became the first black model on the cover of French Vogue, a landmark event that is widely discussed. It's one of those dates that marks a turning point, because a cover isn't just a photo, it's who enters the heart of culture. In Norway, the name Birkebeiner immediately brings to mind a very famous cross-country ski race, the Birkebeiner, an annual marathon that has existed since 1932 and commemorates a historical Norwegian event. Did you know that Mick Jagger almost became an economist? When he was young, Jagger won a scholarship to study at the prestigious London School of Economics, one of the world's leading universities for economics and social sciences. However, music captivated him before he graduated. While studying, he met Keith Richards and co-founded the Rolling Stones. The band's success was so rapid that he left the LSE without finishing his degree to dedicate himself fully to music. Actress Angelina Jolie used to wear a pendant with a drop of her then-husband Billy Bob Thornton's blood around her neck. This gesture was part of her more gothic and rebellious phase, generating much controversy and curiosity in the tabloids of the early 2000s. The town of Centralia in Pennsylvania has been burning underground since 1962 due to a mine fire. Smoke billows from cracks in the asphalt, and most of the population was evacuated, leaving behind a zip code that is virtually non-existent today. The century egg is a duck or chicken egg preserved in clay, ash, and lime for weeks or months. The result is a dark green yolk and a translucent brown white with a strong sulfurous taste and a creamy texture. The Dymaxion car, designed by Buckminster Fuller in 1933, was a three-wheeled vehicle that could spin on its own axis. Despite its advanced aerodynamics, a fatal crash at the Chicago World's Fair ruined its reputation and halted its funding. Fantasy coffins in Ghana are funerary caskets carved in the shapes of objects that represent the deceased's life. If someone was a fisherman, they might be buried in a fish, or if they love technology, in a giant cell phone made entirely of wood. The Taos hum is a low-frequency sound that only a small percentage of people in New Mexico can hear. The source of the noise has never been located, leading to theories ranging from secret military experiments to rare geological processes. Alice in Wonderland syndrome distorts the perception of the size of objects or one's own body. Sufferers see things as much smaller or larger than they actually are, a symptom often associated with severe migraines or epilepsy. The lyrebird is capable of mimicking almost any sound it hears, including chainsaws, car alarms, and cameras. It uses this ability during courtship to impress females, creating a chaotic mix of natural sounds and human noises. The cube houses of Rotterdam are dwellings tilted at a 45-degree angle on hexagonal pillars to optimize urban space. Living inside requires custom-made furniture and getting used to diagonal walls, representing the idea of a forest where each house is a tree. The real Annabelle doll is not made of porcelain like in the movies, but is a Raggedy Ann doll. It is kept in a blessed glass case in the Warrens Museum after being accused of moving on its own and attacking its former owners. The city of Colma, California is known as the City of Souls because its population of the deceased outnumbers the living by 1,000 to 1. It was founded as a necropolis when San Francisco prohibited burials within its city limits, transferring thousands of bodies to this place, which today houses 17 cemeteries. The Sape tradition in the Congo involves men known as sapeurs, who spend fortunes on haute couture designer suits despite living in poverty. This subculture prioritizes elegance and manners as a form of peaceful resistance and cultural pride, turning the streets of Brazzaville into a colorful catwalk. The Count of St. Germain was an 18th century European adventurer who claimed to be hundreds of years old and to possess the secret of the Philosopher's Stone and immortality. Many nobles believed he never ate in public and spoke multiple languages fluently, disappearing and reappearing throughout history without ever aging. The Kalani Utah 8 is an extremely aerodynamic vehicle designed by Luigi Kalani, famous for his organic and fluid forms that eliminate any right angles in the sheet metal. This prototype resembles a futuristic water droplet on wheels and was designed to break fuel efficiency records using principles of pure bionics. Steve McQueen used to request ridiculous amounts of clothing and supplies in his contracts, such as hundreds of pairs of jeans and razors, which he would then secretly donate to juvenile detention centers. No one knew about this gesture until after his death, revealing that the King of Cool used his fame to provide for underprivileged children's homes. In Alaska, akutak, or Eskimo ice cream, is traditionally made by churning seal or reindeer blubber with wild berries and sometimes flaked fish or fresh snow. This ancient recipe provided the necessary calories for hunters in extreme Arctic conditions, although today sugar and butter are more commonly used. The North American horned lizard can shoot jets of blood from its eyes to scare off coyotes and other predators. The blood contains chemicals unpleasant to canines, and the jet can travel up to 5 feet, completely surprising the attacker. The Man from Tord is an urban legend about a traveler who arrived at Tokyo Airport in 1954 carrying an authentic passport from a non-existent country called Tord. When asked to point it out on a map, he indicated Andorra, claiming his nation had 1,000 years of history before mysteriously vanishing from his room. Exploding head syndrome is a sleep disorder in which a person hears an extremely loud noise, such as a gunshot or explosion, just before falling asleep. Although painless, it causes intense panic and is believed to occur due to a massive discharge of sensory neurons as the brain attempts to shut down for rest. Singapore banned the import and sale of chewing gum in 1992 to maintain the extreme cleanliness of its streets and the smooth operation of its subway system. Violators face severe fines, and the use of therapeutic or nicotine gum is only permitted under strict medical supervision, making it one of the most famous laws in the world. In Thailand, there is the Yipeng Lantern Festival, where thousands of lanterns are released into the night sky to symbolize the release of misfortunes. This spectacle creates a magical and spiritual visual experience that attracts photographers from around the world, making it one of the most beautiful celebrations in the Buddhist calendar in the Chiang Mai region. Abraham Lincoln was an accomplished wrestler before entering politics, losing only one of the approximately 300 fights he participated in during his youth. His height and long arms gave him a tremendous technical advantage, and he was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame for his grappling prowess and sportsmanship. Fermented whale meat, or hakkerl, is an Icelandic tradition where Greenland shark meat is buried for months to remove its natural toxins. The smell is often compared to strong cleaning products due to the ammonia, but Icelanders enjoy it with a shot of local spirit during their celebrations. The Wiesmann Roadster is a modern, handcrafted German car that features a gecko as its logo, symbolizing the car's grip on the road in corners. It combines a retro 1950s exterior design with powerful BMW engines, creating a pure analog driving experience that is rare in today's market. The immortal jellyfish, or Turritopsis dohrnii, can reverse its life cycle and revert to its juvenile polyp state after reaching full sexual maturity. This process allows it to avoid death from old age, theoretically enabling it to live forever, unless eaten by a predator or suffering from a serious illness. The placebo effect demonstrates that the brain can induce actual healing in the body simply through the belief that it is receiving effective and powerful medical treatment. Even when a patient knows they are taking a sugar pill, the brain can release chemicals that reduce pain or improve physical symptoms. The Lycurgus cup is a 4th century Roman artifact that changes color depending on the direction of the light, shifting from green to red when illuminated from within. This is because the Romans used gold and silver nanotechnology in the glass, an advanced technical knowledge that was lost and only recently rediscovered. The 1986 UFO night in Brazil involved 21 luminous objects that were detected by radar and pursued by Air Force fighter jets for several hours. The Minister of Aeronautics publicly acknowledged the events, making it one of the most documented and accepted cases of mass sightings by a sovereign government. Vikings never wore horned helmets, a myth created by 19th century opera costume designers to make them appear fiercer and more dramatic. In reality, their helmets were smooth and practical for close combat, as horns would have been a significant tactical disadvantage, being easily grabbed. Indonesia is the world's largest archipelago, comprising over 17,500 islands, more than half of which are estimated to still lack official names. This nation boasts immense biodiversity and hundreds of different ethnic groups, making it a constant logistical and geographical challenge for the government to maintain national unity. Kintsugi is the Japanese art of repairing broken ceramics using lacquer mixed with gold powder, highlighting the cracks rather than hiding them to give them new value. The philosophy behind it is that breakage and repair are part of an object's history and should be celebrated as evidence of its resilience and imperfect beauty. The Iron Pillar of Delhi is a 5th century column that has resisted corrosion for over 1,600 years, despite being exposed to the elements and humidity. The technique of ancient Indian metalworkers created a passive protective layer that prevents rust, a technological achievement that amazes modern materials engineers. The Layat Helica was a 1919 car that didn't have a transmission to the wheels, but was instead propelled by a huge airplane propeller located at the front of the vehicle. It was extremely light and fast for its time, but also very dangerous for pedestrians, so only 30 units were manufactured before it was banned. Sea sheep, or Costacella kuroshime, are small sea slugs that can photosynthesize after eating algae, becoming sun-fed animals. This process gives them their bright green color and allows them to survive for months without eating anything else, an extremely rare ability among multicellular organisms. Head cheese isn't cheese at all, but a tureen of meat made from the head of a pig or cow, boiled until a natural gelatin forms with the collagen. It is eaten cold and sliced in many European countries, and is a traditional way of using every part of the animal after slaughter to avoid waste. Human lungs have such a vast internal surface area that, if fully extended, they would cover roughly the size of a professional singles tennis court. This design maximizes gas exchange, allowing the blood to absorb the oxygen needed to fuel the trillions of cells that make up our bodies. Glass is neither a solid nor a liquid, but an amorphous solid where the atoms are disordered like in a liquid, but trapped in a structure that doesn't flow over time. The idea that old windows are thicker at the bottom because the glass flows is a myth. It's actually due to the way the panes were manufactured by hand. Tsar Peter the Great of Russia imposed a beard tax to force his subjects to adopt a more European and modern appearance, according to Western standards. Anyone who wanted to keep their beard had to pay an annual fee and carry a copper or silver coin that served as an official receipt proving their facial hair was legal in the country. If you could put the planet Saturn in a giant bathtub full of water, it would float, because its average density is less than that of liquid water on Earth. Although it is a gas giant with spectacular rings of ice and rock, its internal composition of hydrogen and helium makes it incredibly light for its total volume. The lithium battery we use in our cell phones today was developed thanks to research that began in the 1970s to create lighter and more powerful energy sources. This advancement enabled the revolution of portable devices and electric cars, although its recycling remains one of the biggest environmental challenges of the century. In Venezuela, the Catatumbo lightning is a phenomenon where up to 280 lightning flashes per hour occur for almost 300 nights a year over the mouth of the river where it meets the lake. This natural ozone factory is so constant that it has served as a beacon for sailors since colonial times, providing an unparalleled natural light show. Don Quixote is the best-selling and most translated work of fiction in history, surpassed only by religious texts like the Bible in its reach. Miguel de Cervantes wrote much of the story while in prison, creating a character who became a universal symbol of idealistic struggle. Human teeth are the only part of the body that cannot repair itself, as tooth enamel is not living tissue and does not contain regenerative cells. For this reason, cavities must be treated by a professional dentist, and prevention is the only way to maintain healthy teeth throughout adulthood. Koala footprints are so similar to human footprints that even forensic experts have had difficulty distinguishing them at crime scenes in parts of Australia. They have ridges and loops similar to ours, a case of convergent evolution where a very different species develops a similar tactical tool for grasping. In Scotland, if someone knocks on your door asking to use your bathroom in an emergency, the ancient law of hospitality says you are obliged to let them in without question. Although it's more of a custom than a modern, enforced law, it reflects the Scottish spirit of generosity towards strangers in distress. The Dyatlov Pass incident in 1959 involved the unexplained deaths of 9 Russian hikers who fled their tent at night without proper clothing into the deadly snow. Their injuries were unusual, and some bodies showed traces of radiation, leading to theories about avalanches, secret military tests, or even Yeti attacks. Charles Lindbergh was the first to fly solo and nonstop across the Atlantic Ocean in 1927, spending 33 hours awake inside a cockpit where he could barely move. His plane, the Spirit of St. Louis, had no windshield for safety reasons, forcing him to use a periscope to see what was ahead for the entire flight. The Lighthouse of Alexandria was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and its light, produced by a bonfire and bronze mirrors, could be seen from over 30 miles away. It guided sailors for over 1,000 years before being destroyed by earthquakes, being the ancestor of all modern maritime navigation aids. Lab-grown meat is cultivated from animal cells without the need to sacrifice any living beings, offering an ethical and ecological alternative to factory farming. This advancement uses far less water and land, and is already being sold in some countries, promising to feed a growing global population sustainably and healthily. The lighter was invented before matches, a fact that seems contradictory but is due to the fact that phosphorus chemistry was more difficult to master in a stable way. The first lighter was a dangerous hydrogen lamp from 1823, while friction matches did not appear safely until 3 years later. An astronaut's footprint on the moon could last for millions of years, as there is no wind or water to erase it through erosion, leaving it as an eternal monument to humankind's presence. Only a bombardment of micrometeorites will eventually smooth it out, but for now, Neil Armstrong's footprints remain untouched, awaiting future explorers. Burma switched from driving on the left to driving on the right overnight on the advice of a fortune teller. Despite the change, most cars still have the steering wheel on the right, making overtaking dangerous. Lena Medina is the youngest confirmed mother in history, having given birth in Peru at the age of 5 years and 7 months. Her case of precocious puberty astonished the world medical community in 1939, and the identity of the biological father was never revealed. In Sardinia, su filande is the rarest pasta in the world, made by only 3 women who know the secret technique. It involves stretching the dough into 256 ultra-thin strands that are sun-dried on wooden trays before being served in a sheep broth. The Mazda suitcase car was literally a motorized tricycle that could be folded and stored inside a regular suitcase. It was built by Mazda engineers as a creative challenge, powered by a two-stroke engine and reaching speeds of up to 19 miles per hour. In Taiwan, strippers are hired for funerals to attract more people to the event and ensure the deceased has a joyful journey. This practice is considered a way to honor the life of the deceased, although authorities try to limit public performances. Coral Castle in Florida was built by a single man moving stone blocks that weighed several tons. Edward Leedskalnin never revealed how he did it, claiming he knew the secrets of pyramid construction and the laws of magnetism. The tree man of Indonesia suffered from a severe form of the human papillomavirus that covered his body with scabs. These growths resembled tree roots, preventing him from using his hands until he underwent multiple reconstructive surgeries. The Greenland shark is the longest living vertebrate on the planet, capable of living for over 400 years in the Arctic waters. They grow only 1 centimeter per year and do not reach sexual maturity until they are 150 years old, leading an extremely slow life. The Bone Church in Sedlec, Czech Republic, is decorated with the skeletons of more than 4,000 real people. It includes a chandelier containing at least one bone from every part of the human body, created by a woodcarver in 1870. The Phaistos disc is a baked clay disc with spiral symbols stamped on it that no one has been able to decipher. It was found in Crete and is considered the earliest example of stamp printing in history, holding secrets of the Minoan culture. In Indonesia, the Toraja tribe lives with their deceased relatives for months or even years in their homes before holding a formal funeral. They treat the mummified bodies as if they were sick, offering them food and clothing daily until the family has saved enough money for a mass sacrifice of water buffalo. L'inconnue de la Seine was a young woman whose face became the basis for the world's most widely used CPR mannequin, known as Risushi Anne. After being found in the river, her death mask became famous for its enigmatic smile, and today it is the face most kissed in history by medical students. The Kola Super Deep Borehole in Russia is the deepest man-made hole, reaching a depth of 4,230 feet below the Earth's solid crust. Engineers had to stop drilling due to temperatures of 356 degrees Fahrenheit that melted the drill bits, leading to false urban legends about hell songs recorded there. The 1939 Plymouth 6-Hour was a customized car that featured an extra engine to power a variety of musical accessories, including bagpipes and a bell. Its owner used it for parades, and the car could release bursts of smoke and confetti while playing popular tunes, making it the loudest car of its time. Lady Gaga purchased a $50,000 ghost detector to have a team of experts check every hotel and dressing room before her concerts during the Monster Ball tour. She claimed that a spirit named Ryan was haunting her, so she needed to ensure the space was free of negative energy in order to perform well. Mouse wine is a tonic drink from China and Korea, where newborn mice are submerged in rice wine and left to ferment for a year inside the bottle. It is believed to cure asthma and liver diseases, and locals drink the liquid while the mice remain at the bottom, preserved by the high alcohol content. The Antarctic icefish is the only known vertebrate that completely lacks hemoglobin in its blood, making its fluid as clear as water. It survives because the frigid waters where it lives have high levels of dissolved oxygen, which it absorbs directly through its skin and simple circulatory system. The Lead Boy of Brazil refers to two men found dead on a hill in 1966, wearing waterproof suits and lead masks over their closed eyes. A note read, "Wait for a signal, take a capsule," which has led to theories about UFO cults, psychedelic drug experiments, or attempts at alien contact. Pica is an eating disorder where people experience an irresistible urge to eat non-food substances, such as dirt, chalk, glue, metal, or even ashes. It is often associated with mineral deficiencies such as iron or zinc, and can cause serious damage to the digestive system from the ingestion of toxic materials. The Principality of Monaco has the highest concentration of police officers per capita in the world, with one officer for every 70 residents. This extreme security ensures a near-zero crime rate in the land of billionaires, where surveillance cameras cover every corner of the territory to protect the country's vast wealth. In Finland, the World Wife Carrying Championship is a real sport where men race around an obstacle course carrying their wives. The prize for the winner is his wife's weight in beer, a tradition that has gained international popularity and has strict rules regarding the weight and age of the participants. Steve Jobs used to eat nothing but carrots and apples for weeks at a time, which sometimes gave his skin a noticeable orange tint due to the excess beta-carotene. His extreme diet was part of his quest for simplicity and purity, which was also reflected in the minimalist design of the products he created for his company. Swallows' nests are used in China to create a very expensive gelatinous soup made from the hardened saliva the birds use to build their nests in caves. This soup is believed to improve skin and prevent aging, so harvesters risk their lives climbing cave ceilings to obtain the white nests. The 1936 Stout Scarab is considered by many to be the first van or minivan in history, featuring a folding table and seats that could swivel backward. Its design was inspired by the fuselage of airplanes, and it didn't have a conventional chassis, offering a huge interior space unseen in other cars of the time. Death camas is a plant that looks like a wild onion, but contains a deadly toxin that can stop the heart within a few hours. Its resemblance to edible plants has caused many accidental deaths throughout history, serving as a dangerous reminder of nature's toxicity. Malignant hyperthermia is a life-threatening reaction to certain types of general anesthesia that causes body temperature to rise rapidly to levels that destroy organs. It is a hereditary genetic condition, and today there are special tests to detect it before surgery, saving thousands of lives that were previously lost. Whale candles were made in the 19th century using the blubber from the heads of sperm whales, known as spermaceti, which produced the brightest and cleanest light. This resource was so valuable that it nearly led to the extinction of these marine giants until the invention of kerosene saved the species from indiscriminate hunting. The Mothman is a Point Pleasant legend that preceded the tragic collapse of the Silver Bridge in 1967, where many claim to have seen a giant winged man. His glowing red eyes and his presence near disasters have created the myth that he is a creature who appears to warn of or foretell impending fatal catastrophes. The beer flood of London in 1814 occurred when a giant tank burst, releasing a tsunami of over 2,640,000 gallons of beer into the streets of the impoverished city. The disaster destroyed homes and caused the deaths of 8 people from drowning and collapse, making it one of the most unusual industrial accidents of the 19th century. Tuvalu derives a significant portion of its national income from its .tv internet domain, which it sells to streaming companies and video websites worldwide. This digital resource has allowed the small Pacific nation to fund basic services and pay its United Nations membership dues, turning chance into wealth. In Tierra del Fuego, the ancient Selknam practiced the Hain ritual, where young men had to confront spirits painted with geometric designs to become adults. These body paintings are iconic today for their abstract and avant-garde designs, although the culture was tragically decimated by colonization in the early 20th century. The Roman dodecagon is a mysterious bronze object with 12 flat faces and holes of varying sizes that has been found at numerous archaeological sites across Europe. Its purpose remains a mystery, with theories ranging from astronomical measuring tools to simple candlesticks or even tools for knitting perfect wool gloves. The Peugeot VLV was a small, 3-wheeled electric vehicle manufactured during World War II to circumvent gasoline rationing in France. It was primarily used by doctors and mail carriers, demonstrating that the need for efficient transportation always finds a way through innovation in times of crisis. The Australian bulldog ant has such a powerful sting that it can cause anaphylactic shock in humans within minutes if urgent medical treatment is not received. They are solitary hunters with excellent vision that can jump on their prey and bite it repeatedly, making them the most dangerous ants in the world. Michael Jackson attempted to buy the rights to Marvel Comics in the 1990s with the goal of producing and starring in a Spider-Man movie, which he would direct and star in. Although the purchase didn't go through, the King of Pop was a comic book fanatic and dreamed of bringing the heroes who now dominate the global box office to the big screen. Worm salt is a traditional Mexican condiment made with moth larvae that live in agave plants. These larvae are toasted and ground with coarse salt and hot dried chilies. It is primarily used to accompany mezcal, enhancing the smoky flavors of the spirit and providing an earthy and complex touch that connoisseurs greatly appreciate. The Vinland map is a parchment that supposedly shows Vikings reached America long before Columbus, depicting the coast of Newfoundland with remarkable accuracy. Its authenticity is one of the fiercest debates in archaeology, as the ink contains compounds not commonly used during the official medieval period. Corneal cells are the only ones in the human body that do not receive oxygen through the blood, but rather absorb it directly from the air that surrounds us at all times. For this reason, corneas are transparent, as the presence of blood vessels would obstruct our vision, allowing light to pass through without interference. Outer space smells like charred meat, hot metal, and welding fumes, according to astronauts who have returned from spacewalks and smelled their pressure suits. This odor comes from chemical compounds called hydrocarbons that adhere to the equipment, giving us a sensory idea of what it is like to be outside our atmosphere. During World War II, the British created a phantom army of inflatable tanks and airplanes to deceive German spies about the location of the real D-Day. This deception was so effective that the Nazis kept troops away from Normandy, expecting an attack in a place where there were only rubber balloons shaped like weapons. Olympus Mons on Mars is the largest volcano in the solar system, reaching a height of about 14 miles, making it almost 3 times taller than Mount Everest on Earth. Its base is so extensive that it would cover almost the entire state of Arizona, and it is such a massive structure that its summit rises above the atmosphere of the red planet. Bluetooth is named after a 10th century Viking king named Harald Bluetooth Gormson, who was famous for unifying the scattered tribes of Denmark and Norway. The creators of the technology chose this name because the system unifies different communication devices, and the logo is a combination of Viking runes. Angel Falls in Venezuela is the world's tallest waterfall, with an uninterrupted 3,212-foot drop from the top of a tepui, or ancient table mountain. It is so high that the water often turns into a fine mist before reaching the ground, creating a mystical ecosystem that inspired the Pixar and Disney film Up. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 different publishers before a small house agreed to publish the first Harry Potter book at the urging of the headmaster's daughter. The saga became a global phenomenon that changed children's literature, proving that persistence is as important as talent in achieving success. Michelangelo's David was sculpted from a block of marble that 2 other artists had abandoned because they believed it had too many imperfections to be worked. It took Michelangelo 3 years to liberate the figure that, according to him, already lived within the stone, creating one of the most perfect masterpieces of the Italian Renaissance. The brain does not feel pain because it has no pain receptors of its own, allowing surgeons to perform brain operations while the patient is fully awake. Although the brain interprets pain signals coming from other parts of the body, it is itself insensitive to direct cuts or touches during neurosurgery. Seahorses are the only species on the planet where the male becomes pregnant and gives birth to the young after receiving the eggs from the female in a brood pouch. They can have up to 2,000 offspring at a time, and their mating dance is one of the most complex in the marine kingdom, lasting for hours while they constantly change color. The dynamite tree has fruits that, when ripe, explode with a sound similar to a gunshot, launching their seeds at speeds of up to 155 miles per hour over great distances. Its trunks are covered in sharp thorns to prevent animals from climbing, making it one of the most aggressive and dangerous plants in the rainforests. In the city of Oshawa, Canada, it is illegal to climb trees in public parks according to an old municipal ordinance that seeks to prevent injuries and protect the city's flora. Although rarely strictly enforced, the law remains in effect and surprises visitors who want to actively enjoy nature in recreational spaces. The Man from Taured is an urban legend about a traveler who arrived at a Japanese airport in 1954 with a passport from a non-existent country called Taured, located between Spain and France. When he was detained in a hotel for questioning, he vanished from a guarded room without a trace, fueling stories about travelers from other dimensions. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, but refused to have one in his own study because he felt the constant calls interrupted his creative flow. His wife and mother were deaf, which led him to study acoustics and the voice, searching for ways to aid human communication before changing the world with his wire. The Concorde was the only commercial airliner capable of flying at more than twice the speed of sound, allowing travel from London to New York in under 3.5 hours. Due to the heat generated by air friction, the plane stretched about 8 inches during flight, returning to its original size once it landed. The Titanic did not have enough lifeboats for all passengers because the laws at the time were based on the ship's tonnage, not the number of people on board. It was believed that the ship was a lifeboat itself, an overconfidence that led to the most famous and remembered maritime tragedy of the entire 20th century. Strawberries are not botanically berries, but bananas, tomatoes, and watermelons are, due to the way they develop from the ovary of a single flower. Strawberries are actually accessory fruits, where the true fruits are the tiny seeds we see on the outside, defying our everyday language. If you could eliminate the empty space between the atoms of every human being in the world, the entire population would fit inside a single small sugar cube. However, that cube would weigh millions of tons, demonstrating that we are made almost entirely of nothing, held together by invisible and powerful electromagnetic forces. In Ethiopia, the official calendar has 13 months and is 7 years behind the Gregorian calendar. This is due to differences in the calculation of the year of Jesus Christ's birth, which is why they celebrated the millennium there in 2007. Rolling Stones musician Keith Richards once confessed to snorting his own father's ashes mixed with cocaine. Although he later clarified that it was a moment of impulse, the anecdote became one of the wildest legends in rock and roll. Cuy chactado is a traditional Andean dish where a whole guinea pig is served, fried, under a stone. It is consumed mainly in Peru and Ecuador and has a flavor similar to rabbit or chicken, having been a staple food since the Inca era. The Phantom Corsair was a 1938 prototype with such a futuristic design that it resembled a comic book villain's vehicle. It had no door handles and opened via electric buttons, but the death of its creator prevented it from reaching the production stage. The Naghole on Pentecost Island is a jump from 98-foot wooden towers with only vines tied to the ankles. It is the precursor to bungee jumping and is performed to ensure a good yam harvest and demonstrate the bravery of young people. Dean's Blue Hole is one of the deepest marine sinkholes in the world, plunging to over 656 feet. Located in the Bahamas, it is a favorite but extremely dangerous spot for freedivers. Alien hand syndrome causes one of the patient's hands to act independently without any conscious control. The hand may button clothing or even slap the person due to a disconnection between the hemispheres of the human brain. The White Temple in Thailand includes characters like Batman, Spider-Man, and Star Wars spaceships in its religious murals. Its creator designed these modern images to represent the struggle between good and evil in today's world, breaking with Buddhist tradition. The Mirror of John Dee is a black obsidian object used by Queen Elizabeth I's advisor to summon angels. Dee believed he could see the future through its dark surface, merging the science of the time with occultism and ceremonial magic. In Antarctica, there is a waterfall known as Blood Falls that pours a deep red liquid onto the white ice of Taylor Glacier. The color is not due to blood, but to an iron-rich brine that oxidizes upon contact with air, flowing from an ancient subglacial lake trapped millions of years ago beneath the ice. The world's most valuable postage stamp is the 1856 British Guiana 1 pence magenta stamp, of which only one verified copy exists to this day. It was auctioned for more than $9 million, an astronomical price for a small piece of paper due to its history of printing errors and its absolute scarcity. Aviator and businessman Howard Hughes became an extreme recluse, living in dark hotels and obsessively controlling hygiene. He demanded that his food be served on trays with dozens of layers of tissue paper, fearing bacterial contamination to the point of total paranoia. CRISPR-Cas9 technology is a molecular scissors that allows scientists to edit DNA with unprecedented precision to correct defective genes. It has revolutionized biology, offering the hope of curing genetic diseases, but it also raises serious ethical dilemmas about creating perfect designer babies. Michel Lotito, known as Monsieur Mangetout or Mr. Eat-It-All, ate an entire airplane, a Cessna 150, as well as bicycles, shopping carts, and televisions. It took him 2 years to consume the plane, cutting it into small pieces that he ingested with water and mineral oil, thanks to a stomach with walls twice as thick as normal. The skeleton of an about 11.5-foot-tall giant was displayed at a London fair in 1782, purchased by a surgeon who stole it from the coffin of an Irishman named Charles Byrne. Byrne had begged that his body be buried at sea to spare anatomists, but the surgeon desecrated it, exhibiting the body to this day in museums. Queen Marie Antoinette of France had a mock pastoral village built in the gardens of Versailles, the Hameau de la Reine, to play at being a humble peasant. With her ladies-in-waiting, she pretended to milk cows and bake bread in a completely artificial and idealized environment, while the real population of France suffered from a terrible famine. Self-healing materials are polymers that can heal themselves from cracks or cuts by releasing an internal capsule filled with a chemical sealing agent. They are used in car paint, building construction, and electronic devices, extending the lifespan of objects and reducing the need for repairs. Diogenes of Sinope was a Greek philosopher who lived in a ceramic barrel in the street and criticized the Athenians for their lack of virtue and their love of comfort. When Alexander the Great offered him any wish, Diogenes asked him to move, as he was blocking the sunlight, demonstrating his disdain for wealth. The Hope Diamond is cursed, said to bring bad luck, death, and madness to anyone who possesses it, according to its history of tragic owners. Its intense blue color is due to traces of boron, and its brilliance is so intense that it emits a phosphorescent red light when exposed to ultraviolet rays. The writer Truman Capote could only write lying down, stating that the creative process required a completely horizontal position for ideas to flow uninterrupted. He rejected the traditional desk, using only a pencil and paper while smoking and drinking, creating a boudoir atmosphere that fueled his brilliant and sensitive mind. Self-cleaning cement is mixed with titanium dioxide, which reacts with sunlight to break down pollution and organic matter, keeping facades clean. It is used on modern buildings in highly polluted cities, turning concrete structures into giant air purifiers that clean the atmosphere. The astronomer Tycho Brahe died of a ruptured bladder after refusing to leave a banquet before the King of Denmark, due to a matter of protocol. He was a great observer of the stars, but his death was a tragic and absurd end for one of the most important minds in pre-telescopic astronomy of his time. The dress Marilyn Monroe wore to sing Happy Birthday to President Kennedy was so tight that it had to be sewn directly onto her body that night. It was adorned with 2,500 hand-sewn crystals and sold for nearly $5 million, a record for an item of clothing from American popular culture. King Louis XIV of France, the Sun King, was so vain about his height that he popularized the fashion of wearing high heels and giant wigs so that no one would appear taller than him. His heels were often bright red, a color reserved only for royalty, setting a trend that was copied by all the nobility of Europe at the time. 8K television has a resolution 16 times higher than Full HD television, displaying images with such a high level of detail that the human eye can barely perceive it. This technology has an impact on medicine and engineering, where visual precision is vital for diagnoses and the design of very small machine parts. Elon Musk is famous for his futuristic ideas, but also for leading a minimalist lifestyle, often sleeping on the couch at the Tesla factory. His eccentricity lies in his total obsession with work and the colonization of Mars, setting aside the luxuries of his fortune to focus solely on engineering and science. The strontium atomic clock is so precise that it wouldn't lose or gain a single second in over 15 billion years, making it older than the observable universe itself. It is used to test Einstein's theory of relativity, being the most precise tool ever created by human engineering to measure the passage of time. The magician Harry Houdini used to jump into frozen rivers and lakes in chains and handcuffs to practice his escape art and demonstrate his mastery of fear. His body was covered in cuts and tears, but he believed the pain was part of the show, pushing his escape theater to the very edge of mortality. Searle's anti-gravity device is a machine that supposedly generates an anti-gravity field using rotating magnets, but science considers it pseudoscience. Its inventor claims the machine can fly, but he has failed to demonstrate this under controlled laboratory conditions, making it an enigma of absolute free energy. In Japan, there is a rather strange snack called armpit onigiri. Young women are shaping rice balls with their armpits, inspired by a scene from a famous manga. Although it may seem unhygienic, it has become a trend, and many are trying it as if it were a cultural eccentricity. Would you dare? The strawberry moon is a phenomenon that occurs when the full moon is at its closest point to Earth. Although many believe the name comes from its pinkish color, it is actually related to the strawberry harvest season. The visual spectacle often amazes those who witness it. In Austria, you'll find the Schlossbergrutsche, or the Slide Graz, the tallest underground water slide in the world. With a 210-foot drop and a 558-foot descent, it's the perfect attraction for adrenaline junkies. It's not just a ride, but an extreme underground experience. When cars wrapped in vinyl are exposed to intense heat, a curious effect occurs. Air bubbles form beneath the surface. This is because the material expands at high temperatures. The result is cars that look like inflatables on wheels. Cuban Eric Hernandez achieved an impressive world record in ball control. He kept the ball in play for over 3 hours without dropping it, while seated and with extra weight on his ankles. His skill and stamina have made him a legend in freestyle football. Manette Bailey, a 102-year-old woman, decided to celebrate her birthday in an unusual way, by skydiving. From 6,890 feet, she broke records as the oldest person to do so in the UK. Her bravery inspired thousands around the world. The stones we see on railway tracks serve a vital function. They are called railway ballast and are used to absorb vibrations, keep the tracks aligned, and allow water drainage. Without them, the rails would warp under the weight of the trains. Olympic medals are not what they seem at first glance. Gold medals, for example, actually contain more silver than gold and only have a coating of the precious metal. Silver medals are almost pure, while bronze medals are made of copper mixed with other metals. Beer bottles are usually made of dark glass for a practical reason. This color protects the liquid from sunlight, which can alter the flavor by causing a chemical reaction with the hops. Thanks to this, the drink retains its freshness and aroma. Italian artist Michele Volpi has become famous for his tattoos inspired by geometry, science, and biology. His designs range from physical formulas to atomic diagrams. What might seem strange on paper becomes authentic works of art on skin. In Beijing, a university surprised its new students by sending them admission letters made of carbon fiber. This material is as thin as it is flexible, yet incredibly strong. In fact, it can be used to cut fruit like a knife. In China, a Doberman named Xiaopai went viral thanks to his modeling skills. His photos captivated millions with his elegance and intense gaze. The dog posed so naturally that he looked like a professional model. Chen Xiaoqing broke a very particular Guinness World Record, rotating a cell phone on his finger 320 times in 1 minute. His feat not only surprised everyone, but also became a challenge for those who wanted to imitate him. Would you dare to try it? A company called BirdBuddy created a smart bird feeder. This device not only feeds birds, but also photographs and identifies them using artificial intelligence. Users can even name their feathered visitors. Chinese makeup artist Sakura Lucy surprised everyone by transforming her grandfather into youthful anime characters. With her makeup techniques, she made him unrecognizable. No one would believe that behind those images is a 66-year-old man. Veterinarian Chloe Booding uses an Apple Watch in an unusual way to measure the heart rate of lions. She places the device on the tongue of the sedated animal and obtains data that would otherwise be impossible to obtain. It's a creative trick to save lives. Shooting Star Vodka is a unique spirit, made with fragments of a meteorite found in 1977. Only a little over 4,000 bottles were produced, sold at high prices. Its flavor is described as smooth, with a special mineral note. A coffin-shaped car attracted attention for its unusual design. With large wheels, vertical exhaust pipes, and striking lights, it looks like something out of a movie. More than a practical vehicle, it's an extravagant work of art on wheels. Arshia Goswami, a 9-year-old Indian girl, has been nicknamed the Hercules Girl. At such a young age, she can already lift more than 165 pounds, twice her own weight. Her discipline and strength have made her a weightlifting star. The company OSET unveiled an unusual security camera. Instead of just recording, it shoots paintballs to mark intruders. With night vision and artificial intelligence, it promises to be a highly effective deterrent. In Japan, a company created a transparent bag designed to carry live fish called katsugiyo. With an oxygenation system and a viewing window, some use it as an accessory and others as a way to transport fresh sashimi, a curious and controversial idea. In Bali, a former Boeing airplane has been transformed into a luxury hotel. With 2 bedrooms and breathtaking ocean views, it offers a unique experience. Staying there costs several $1,000s per night, making it an exclusive destination. A choir called the Drunken Men performs video game songs a cappella. From Mario Brothers to Halo, their versions are so creative they've gone viral. They also allow anyone to use their recordings freely. In Nagoya, a Japanese bar became famous for offering customers a peculiar service, a slap before their meal. What seems strange actually attracts curious crowds. For many, the experience is part of the bar's appeal. A Japanese factory surprised everyone by launching banana-shaped hammers. What started as a joke ended up becoming a real product for sale. Now anyone can hammer a nail with a tool that looks like fruit. A car made entirely of wire was also manufactured in Japan. It was created as a demonstration of skill at a technology convention. Although not roadworthy, it's considered a masterpiece of handcrafted engineering. The world's deepest hotel is located in Wales, 1,375 feet underground. Built in a former mine, it offers subterranean rooms and dining areas. Getting there requires traversing steep tunnels, making the stay quite an adventure. In Pakistan, hairdresser Shafkat Rajput went viral for an unusual method. He cuts hair by setting fire to his clients' heads. With mysterious powders and liquids, he manages to shape the hairstyle as the flames burn. His technique has left many speechless. In North Carolina, there's a unique natural phenomenon: bees that produce purple honey. Its color seems straight out of a cartoon, but it's completely real. It's said to be sweeter than traditional honey and has subtle fruity notes. The Night of the Radishes in Oaxaca, Mexico, is one of the world's most peculiar festivals. Every December 23rd, locals gather in the Zocalo to admire sculptures carved from giant radishes. Tom Hanks is an avid collector of antique typewriters from around the world. He owns more than 250 different models and often carries one with him when he travels to write letters. This passion, combined with his love for analog technology, led him to develop an iPad app. The app recreates the sound and resistance of the keys of a manual typewriter in today's digital age. Mike Tyson revealed that he used to wear a fake device during medical exams. The goal was to conceal the use of banned substances with a prosthesis filled with clean urine. Lady Gaga bought a high-fidelity electromagnetic field detector. She was convinced that the spirit of a man named Ryan was haunting her during her Monster Ball tour. She spent thousands of dollars on paranormal equipment to ensure her security team could cleanse hotel rooms before going to sleep. Steve Jobs had a habit of washing his feet in the office toilets. He believed that cold water helped relieve the stress of long design days in Apple's early days. This eccentricity was part of his disruptive and unique personality. Many employees remembered seeing the CEO barefoot, performing this ritual in the company's restrooms. The Graf Diamonds Hallucination Watch is considered the most valuable in the world for its gemstones. It is covered with 110 carats of extremely rare colored diamonds set in solid platinum. The piece, valued at $55 million, is more of a haute couture jewel than a timepiece. Vanta Black is a technological material that absorbs 96% of visible light. When an object is coated with it, it appears to lose its three-dimensional shape, becoming a black hole. This technology, used in telescopes and art, tricks the brain by eliminating all shadows and textures. Eric Weihenmayer achieved the record for climbing Mount Everest while completely blind. He used a tactile device on his tongue that sent visual signals to his brain via electrical impulses. The mind-blowing journey defied all the laws of modern medicine. The Antikythera mechanism is a 2,000-year-old analog computer. Found in a Greek shipwreck, it could predict eclipses and planetary positions with absolute accuracy. This rare object, centuries ahead of its time, possesses bronze gears of astonishing complexity. It is considered the first computer in history, demonstrating a level of technology lost in antiquity. The book Codex Seraphinianus is an encyclopedia of an imaginary world written in a visual code. Its pages depict hybrid creatures and fantastic machines that defy any real biological logic. The work, created by Luigi Serafini, is sought after by collectors of unusual literature for its cryptic beauty. Angelina Jolie surprised the world by revealing that she includes insects in her diet. She often cooks crickets and tarantulas for her children, considering them a sustainable source of protein. The actress promotes this practice as a solution to hunger. Cristiano Ronaldo uses a personal cryotherapy chamber in his own home. He subjects himself to temperatures as low as negative 256 degrees Fahrenheit to accelerate muscle recovery. This key habit in his sporting longevity requires constant investment in medical technology. James Cameron is an explorer of the abyss who descended to the Mariana Trench. He designed his own submersible to reach the deepest point in the ocean, never before seen by humans. The project combines real science with visual fiction. The six-wheeled Tyrrell P-34 was one of the strangest designs in Formula One. It had four small front wheels, to improve aerodynamics and grip on tight corners. The vehicle, seen in the 1970s, even won a Grand Prix, proving that its crazy idea worked. Kiribati is the only territory in the world located in all four hemispheres. Its islands are scattered along the equator and the 180th meridian in the Pacific. This location makes it a unique geographical destination. It is the first nation on the planet to welcome the new year due to its position on the timeline. The M Drive is a space propulsion system that supposedly uses no fuel. It defies Newton's third law by generating thrust using microwaves within a sealed cavity. The technology mentioned in NASA experiments has generated intense debate in modern physics. If its viability is proven, it would allow mind-blowing journeys to Mars in just a few weeks of flight. Alexander Doba crossed the Atlantic Ocean by kayak at the age of 70. He traveled alone for months from the United States to France, facing storms and about 23-foot waves. This incredible journey, hailed as a senior endurance record, was accomplished without the aid of engines. Doba demonstrated that age is no barrier to extreme exploration in the most hostile environments. The Paracas Candelabra is a giant geoglyph, about 591 feet long, etched into the landscape of Peru. Unlike the Nazca lines, it is located on a hillside and points directly out to sea. This unusual object may have served as an ancient beacon for sailors. No one knows who built it or how it has remained intact against the wind for thousands of years. The Devil's Bible, Codex Gigas, is the largest medieval manuscript in existence. It includes a giant illustration of Satan and is said to have been written in a single night by a monk. The work, housed in the National Library of Sweden, weighs about 165 pounds and requires 2 people to move it. The Lark V is a massive amphibious cargo truck used in rescue missions. It can transport about 11,000 pounds from the sea to the sand, thanks to its nearly 10-foot-long tires. This unusual vehicle is capable of navigating very choppy waters. 600 records, including pogo stick jumping in the Amazon and running with a jug on his head. This eccentric man, described as a meditation devotee, seeks to push the limits of the human body. The Piri Reis map is a cartographic relic from 1513 that shows the coast of Antarctica. What's remarkable is that the map details the continent without its ice sheet, just as it was thousands of years ago. The rare object suggests advanced and ancient geographical knowledge. Johnny Depp has a collection of limited edition Barbie dolls at home. He often used them to rehearse the voices of his most famous characters in front of his young children. This technique reveals a paternal and playful side behind his star image. The dolls include accessories and celebrity models that the actor carefully preserves. Frida Kahlo used to throw parties for her pet monkey named Fulang Chang. The animal lived in the Blue House and frequently appeared in his most famous and beloved self-portraits. This relationship symbolized his connection to nature and to pain. The monkey was treated as a member of the family, with its own dishes and private play areas. Salvador Dali used to avoid paying in restaurants by drawing on the back of checks. He knew that the owners preferred to keep the original drawing rather than cash the check. This tactic, referred to as a form of financial art, allowed him to eat for free at the best restaurants. It demonstrates how his fame and talent became a literal currency throughout his life. Shaquille O'Neal bought 3 identical examples of the same luxury car. He did this because he didn't want to wait for the first one to be washed when it got dirty from daily use. He collected trios, like the Tesla Cybertrucks in black, gray, and red, or the Cadillac Escalades, so he could have one in each house. Elton John owns a collection of glasses exceeding 25,000 different models. He has a room dedicated exclusively to storing them with stable temperature and humidity control. This accessory, which has become his signature, requires a detailed inventory for its management. The Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime wristwatch is the most complex ever made. It features 20 different complications and 2 independent dials to display multiple astronomical data. This piece sold for $31 million, required 7 years of development and 2 years of manual assembly. It is the ultimate expression of microengineering and exclusivity in the world of modern mechanical watchmaking. Anticucho de corazón is a Peruvian delicacy made with beef heart muscle marinated in ajipanca peppers. It is grilled and served on skewers and has been a favorite street food in Lima since colonial times. It was originally the food of slaves who made use of what the nobles didn't eat. Today, it is a symbol of national pride, demonstrating that animals can be delicious if you know the secret of cooking them over a flame. The 1930 Stout Scarab is considered the world's first minivan. Inspired by aviation, it featured an interior table, swivel seats, and a cutting-edge aerodynamic design. This unusual car was rejected for its futuristic appearance at the time. Tuvalu is one of the world's smallest nations and is disappearing into the sea. Interestingly, much of its economy depends on selling its national internet domain, TV. This helps fund its basic infrastructure. It's a fascinating destination where physical survival battles the rise of streaming platforms. Serena Williams has a superstition about not washing her socks during a tournament. If she starts by winning a round, she wears the same pair without washing them until the event is over. This common habit among high-performance athletes is meant to keep their luck intact, according to their beliefs. Bill Murray doesn't use smartphones and only communicates via pager. If a director wants to send him a script, they must leave a voicemail on a secret number at his office. This disconnection makes him almost impossible to reach. It has caused him to lose out on major roles because he didn't answer producers' calls in time. The quantum invisibility cloak uses metamaterials to deflect light waves. Scientists have succeeded in concealing small objects by making light flow around them without colliding with them. This technology is the first real step towards science fiction. It allows an object to become undetectable to the human eye under specific laboratory conditions. The Voyager probes are the longest and most distant exploration mission in human history. Both spacecraft carry a golden record containing sounds and music from Earth for possible alien civilizations. This amazing journey continues to send back data after 45 years of flight. It is the first man-made object to leave our solar bubble to navigate in the darkness. The Panaguriste treasure consists of 9 vessels of pure 24-karat gold. They were crafted in Thrace with such a fine relief technique that they resemble living sculptures from mythology. This rare object, found by 3 brothers in Bulgaria, weighs more than 13 pounds of solid, hand-worked gold. The prophecies of Nostradamus are among the most analyzed texts in unusual literature. Written in cryptic quatrains, it is credited with predicting great fires, wars, and the fall of empires. This work, viewed with both skepticism and fascination, uses a mixture of languages to evade ancient censorship. It remains a worldwide bestseller, inviting readers to interpret the future through 16th century verses. The Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic is one of the rarest and most expensive cars on the planet. Only 4 were ever made, and its body features a very distinctive external rivet seam. This unusual automobile, referred to as the Holy Grail of collecting, is worth more than $40 million. Wim Hof remains submerged in ice for almost 2 hours at a time. He uses a breathing technique that allows him to control his body temperature and immune system. This unusual man, nicknamed Iceman, has run marathons in the desert and the Arctic without protective clothing. Mike Myers is so passionate about British culture that he bought a football club. Despite being Canadian, his obsession led him to invest in Liverpool FC like a devoted fan. This eccentricity influenced the creation of his comedic characters. His house is said to be filled with team paraphernalia and historical artifacts from the English city. Michael Schumacher was known for always carrying a lucky charm in his racing suit. It was his son's toothbrush, which he kept close to his heart to attract good fortune. This ritual, similar to the superstitions of other drivers, gave him the peace of mind necessary to drive at 186 miles per hour. Beyoncé demands that her toilet paper be red on all her world tours. She also requests that the temperature in her dressing room be kept exactly at 79 degrees Fahrenheit. These requests include the use of pure titanium straws. They reflect the absolute control the artist exerts over every detail of her personal work environment. The chalice of Doña Urraca is an agate and gold piece kept in Leon, Spain. Researchers claim that this rare object matches the historical description of the Holy Grail in the Bible. This jewel is composed of 2 cups of Roman origin. Its design with pearls and precious stones demonstrates the immense value it held for 11th century royalty. The 10,000-year clock is a technological marvel designed to function without human assistance. It is being built inside a mountain in Texas and is funded by billionaire Jeff Bezos. This invention tells time using sunlight. The Carlman King luxury vehicle is considered the most expensive and unusual SUV on the market today. Its body is inspired by stealth aircraft, and it has optional armor plating that can withstand rifle fire. This strange car, valued at $2 million, includes a coffee maker, television, and air purifier. Nauru is the smallest nation in the Pacific and does not have an officially designated capital. During the 1970s, it was the richest country per capita thanks to the massive export of organic phosphates. This situation left a lunar landscape across much of the island. It is a breathtaking destination that serves as a warning about the risks of extreme mining. Graphene is a sheet of carbon 1 atom thick and extremely hard. It is 200 times stronger than steel, yet so flexible it can bend like a sheet of ordinary paper. This technology conducts electricity better than any metal. It promises to revolutionize everything from electronics to the creation of ultralight and durable spacesuits. Thor Heyerdahl's Kon-Tiki raft expedition crossed the Pacific Ocean. He built a raft of wooden logs without using nails to prove that ancient people could travel thousands of miles. This amazing journey lasted 101 days across open water. Heyerdahl demonstrated that the sea was not a barrier, but a highway for ancient civilizations. The Golden Buddha in Thailand is a about 2,100-pound statue made of solid 18-karat gold. It was hidden under a layer of plaster for centuries to prevent it from being stolen by foreign invaders. This rare object, discovered by accident when it fell from a crane, is the largest gold statue in the world. The stimuli of ancient Greece is one of the most unusual engineering feats. Written by Heron of Alexandria, it describes steam engines and water-powered robots. This work shows that the ancients already understood automation. The General Motors Firebird XP21 was the first car powered by an aircraft turbine. Its wing design and bubble canopy made it look more like a fighter jet than a streetcar. This unusual vehicle sought to eliminate the piston engine. Although it was never mass-produced, it marked the era in which aviation dominated global automotive design. Gary Turner has the most elastic skin in the world due to a syndrome. He can stretch the skin on his stomach more than 6 inches or use the skin on his neck to cover his own chin. This remarkable man has a condition called extreme Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. His physical abilities allow him to perform visual tricks that seem impossible without modern special effects. George Clooney lived for 18 years with a 287-pound pig named Max. The animal frequently slept on his bed and even accompanied him to interviews and film sets. This loyalty affected several of his past romantic partners. Clooney stated that Max was an irreplaceable part of his life until he passed away from natural causes. Axl Rose delayed a concert in Argentina because he couldn't find his favorite cheese. He demanded that a specific brand of imported cheese be brought to him before agreeing to go on stage. This behavior caused a riot among the fans waiting outside. It's a classic example of how a star's whims can affect thousands of people in minutes. Floyd Mayweather never wears the same pair of underwear more than once. He spends thousands of dollars a year buying new underwear only to discard it after just a few hours of wear. This eccentricity, linked to his nickname Money, is part of his ostentatious lifestyle in the public eye. He prefers to wear new, luxurious cotton garments daily rather than use regular laundry services. Coco Chanel was obsessed with the number 5 for purely lucky reasons. She presented her collections on the 5th day of the 5th month because she believed that number guaranteed their success. This superstition, which gave its name to her most famous perfume, the Oxus Treasure, is a collection of 180 gold and silver pieces from the ancient Persian Empire. It includes a miniature gold chariot with details so fine they can only be appreciated with modern magnifying glasses. This relic, found in the Oxus River in 1877, showcases the luxury of the Achaemenid kings before Alexander the Great. It represents the pinnacle of ancient goldsmithing. The Space Traveler's Watch wristwatch was handcrafted by the genius George Daniels. It is capable of simultaneously calculating mean solar time and sidereal time for space navigation. This piece, sold for $4.6 million, was created without any computerized machinery. It is considered the most perfect mechanical watch of the 20th century, designed for stargazing travelers. Palau created the world's first shark sanctuary across its entire maritime territory. It was also the first nation to require tourists to sign an environmental pledge in their passports. This destination protects its lagoons from jellyfish that do not sting humans. It is an example of how a small nation can enact environmental laws that impact global awareness. The diamond battery uses radioactive waste to generate perpetual energy. Scientists encapsulate carbon-14 in synthetic diamonds that emit electricity for thousands of years. This technology, mentioned for satellites and pacemakers, requires no external recharging or maintenance. The Endurance expedition, led by Ernest Shackleton, is the greatest tale of survival. His ship became trapped in the Antarctic ice, and the crew lived for months on ice floes before being rescued. This incredible journey included a boat trip across the pole. Moctezuma's headdress is a crown of quetzal feathers mounted in pure gold. Despite its fragility, it has survived 500 years and is currently housed in the Museum of Ethnology in Vienna. This rare object is unique in the world. The book Gadsby, written by Ernest Vincent Wright, is an unusual 50,000-word novel. What is astonishing is that it is a lipogram. It was written without using the letter E, the most common letter, even once. This work, seen as an extreme literary challenge, forced the author to avoid basic words like thee or he. Daniel Day-Lewis broke 2 ribs for refusing to break character. During the filming of a movie, he remained hunched over in a wheelchair for weeks on end. This commitment forced the crew to carry him to eat or go to the bathroom. He is considered one of the most intense actors in history for blurring the line between reality and fiction. Charles Dickens could only write if his furniture was in a precise position. He carried a compass to ensure his bed was always aligned with the north. This obsession, linked to his belief in magnetic currents, was necessary for his creative flow. If the objects on his desk moved even a fraction of an inch, Dickens was unable to write a single word. The Saqqara bird is a wooden object found in a 2,000-year-old Egyptian tomb. It has such a perfect aerodynamic shape that some experts suggest it is the blueprint of a glider. This relic, studied by proponents of ancient technology, challenges the official history of aviation. It is believed that the ancient Egyptians understood the principles of flight long before the Wright brothers. The Antarctic snow cruiser was a bus-sized mobile science base. It had an airplane on its roof and giant smooth wheels designed to cross crevasses in polar glaciers. This strange vehicle had no traction and ended up buried in the snow. Today, its remains are believed to rest under layers of ice or at the bottom of the sea after the Antarctic ice melts. Jeanne Calment is the oldest person ever, with a confirmed age of 122. She met Van Gogh in her youth and survived 2 world wars while maintaining enviable health. This remarkable woman smoked and ate chocolate almost until her last day. Her life is the gold standard for scientists seeking to understand the biological limits of human life. Crystal skulls are pieces carved from pure quartz found in Central America. Some believe they possess mystical powers or were created by extraterrestrial technology due to their polished finish. This rare object, studied by crystallography experts, shows no signs of metal tool marks. It remains an icon of archaeological mystery. Bernard Gittin's water clock is a technological sculpture that utilizes the flow of liquid. Through glass tubes and siphon principles, colored water precisely marks the hours and minutes. This invention, often seen in science museums, uses neither gears nor electricity to measure the passage of time. The 1921 Layat Helica was a car powered by an airplane propeller. It had no transmission or differential, as the air's thrust propelled it directly along the roads. This strange car, referred to as the wingless airplane, was extremely light and dangerous for pedestrians. Iceland does not have its own army and is ranked as the most peaceful country in the world. Its energy comes almost entirely from geothermal sources, thanks to the volcanoes that cover its territory. This destination boasts one of the oldest democracies in existence. DNA information substrates allow digital data to be stored in biological molecules. Scientists have stored entire books and videos within DNA strands that can last for thousands of years. This technology is incredibly dense and resilient. All the information in the world today could fit into just a couple of hundredths of an ounce of this synthesized genetic material. Nellie Bly circumnavigated the globe in just 72 days at the end of the 19th century. Inspired by Jules Verne, she traveled solo using ships and trains to prove that reality surpassed fiction. This astonishing journey broke the record of the time and made her famous. Bly defied the social conventions of her era regarding what a woman could achieve on her own. The Sword of Gujian was found in a damp tomb in China after 2,500 years. When unsheathed, the blade was perfectly sharp and had not a single speck of rust or corrosion. This rare object features diamond-shaped decorations engraved in the metal. It is considered the Excalibur of the Orient, demonstrating Chinese metallurgy millennia ahead of its time. Lord Byron's The Poet's Hiccup is one of the most unusual pieces of literature due to its origin. It was written during a rainy summer in Switzerland for a ghost story competition among friends. This work, mentioned alongside The Birth of Frankenstein, showcases the darker, more Gothic side of Romanticism. South Africa is the only place where you can go on safari to see the Big Five and penguins. It is one of the few places in the world where African wildlife coexists with penguin colonies on public beaches. This destination protects both the white rhinoceros and the African penguin. The dragonfly drone mimics the insect's four-winged flight for perfect stability. Unlike propeller drones, this one can glide and turn in the air with the agility of a real dragonfly. This technology is almost silent and can land on vertical surfaces. The narwhal can dive to about 4,921 feet under the Arctic ice. Its tusk, which is actually a long tooth, has millions of nerve endings to sense the water's salinity. This dive is vital for finding cracks in the ice where it can breathe. The Map of Life is a genetic atlas that shows how all animals are connected. It explains that we share 60% of our DNA with a banana and 98% with a chimpanzee in the rainforest. This work, viewed as a complete family tree, erases the boundaries between humans and the rest of the animal kingdom. It teaches us that life is a single network of information that has been mutating for billions of years. The world's largest collection of animal footprints contains thousands of plaster casts. A professional tracker has dedicated his life to collecting the footprints of rare animals, from snow leopards to bears. This remarkable individual can identify an animal simply by the pressure of its claw. It is a unique archive that allows for the study of wildlife without disturbing it. Australia is the only place where the quokka lives, known as the happiest animal in the world. Due to the shape of its mouth, it always appears to be smiling, and it has no natural fear of humans. This destination has strict laws prohibiting touching or feeding these marsupials. They've gone viral for their selfies, but they are a vulnerable species that depends on the protection of their island. Rottnest. The communication backpack for dogs allows rescue dogs to send video. Equipped with bark sensors and GPS, the backpack transmits the animal's exact location and emotional state to its handler. This technology turns the dog into a vital, intelligent data node. It helps save lives in earthquakes, allowing trained wildlife to reach places humans cannot. The Pacific salmon returns from the ocean to the exact river where it was born. It navigates thousands of miles, battling the current and leaping over waterfalls, driven by a magnetic instinct. This journey ends with spawning and death, feeding the entire local forest. Virginie Alagidi's illustrated inventory of animals describes species that look like drawings. It features the Dumbo octopus in the mouse deer, real creatures that defy common aesthetics of terrestrial fauna. This work educates children and adults about the planet's hidden diversity. It reminds us that nature has a sense of design that ranges from the awe-inspiring to the utterly adorable. Michael Jackson recorded the sound of his chimpanzee, Bubbles, to include in background noises. Bubbles traveled with him in first class and had his own bodyguard, living like a Hollywood star. This eccentric artist treated animals with a complete human hierarchy. Although his relationship with them was criticized, Dennis Rodman appeared at an event wearing a suit made entirely of peacock feathers. He stated that he identified with the bird because both needed to show their colors to be noticed. This eccentric character used fashion to express his vulnerability and pride. The world's largest gathering of people dressed as dinosaurs brought together more than 1,000 people. It took place in a Canadian city famous for its fossil sites, creating a horde of inflatable T-Rexes. This unusual sight ran through the streets to celebrate paleontological heritage. The whale bone of St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna hung from its door for centuries. In the Middle Ages, it was believed to be the bone of a giant who was defeated during the construction of the Royal Temple. This rare object turned out to be a whale rib brought by travelers. The Van Cleef & Arpels Lady Arpels Zodiac wristwatch displays animal constellations. It uses translucent enamel and gold to represent Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio, with a light that shines from within the dial. This invention doesn't use batteries but generates light through the vibration of crystals. It is a piece that unites ancient astronomy with mythological fauna, glowing in the darkness of night. The Sparrow vehicle, the Espra 8, was designed with a body that mimics the texture of reptile skin. It uses composite materials that change tone depending on the light, giving the race car an organic and living appearance. This strange car was an experiment on how paint can simulate wildlife. Goat spider silk uses milk from genetically modified goats to produce fibers. Spider genes were inserted into the goat's DNA so that their milk contains the strongest silk protein. This technology allows for large-scale silk harvesting without raising millions of spiders. The polar bear can swim hundreds of miles in the open ocean without resting. Due to melting ice, these animals have evolved to be endurance swimmers, using their paws like paddles. This journey is a race against time to find solid ice floes. The Book of Eggs is a visual catalog of more than 600 bird species from around the world. It showcases the incredible variety of colors and patterns that wildlife uses to camouflage its offspring in the nest. This work reveals that an egg can be bright blue, speckled, or pure white. Salvador Dali illustrated a special edition of Alice in Wonderland with deformed fauna. He drew the white rabbit and the caterpillar in a style that blends realistic anatomy with geometric nightmares. This eccentric artist saw in Lewis Carroll's tale a reflection of his own chaos. The world's largest gathering of people dressed as penguins brought together 624 people. It took place in London to raise funds for Antarctic wildlife and protect their habitat from global warming. This unusual person marched through the city mimicking the gait of these seabirds. The Brachinus bombardier beetle possesses an internal chemical factory capable of launching explosions. It mixes two substances in its abdomen that generate a reaction at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, firing a boiling jet at its enemies. This strange animal can precisely aim its cannon in any direction. The Ulysses Nardin Hour Striker Tiger wristwatch features a gold tiger that roars visually. Every time the clock strikes the hour, the tiger automaton moves its paw across the dial, mimicking a real swipe. This invention, valued at over $12,000, uses a chime that sounds like cathedral bells. The Sparrow Monster G vehicle included a drinking water generator that extracted moisture from the air. It was designed for desert expeditions where finding water is more difficult than finding fuel for the engine. This unusual vehicle allowed explorers to drink pure water in the middle of nowhere. The Democratic Republic of Congo is the only place where the okapi lives in the wild. Although it looks like a cross between a giraffe and a zebra, it is the giraffe's closest living relative and was a myth until 1901. This country protects this ghost animal in dense, almost unexplored jungles. It is a symbol of nature's resilience in conflict zones, surviving hidden in the heart of Africa. Snail energy cells use the glucose from a live snail to generate light. Scientists implanted electrodes in the mollusk's body, extracting energy from its metabolism without harming it. This technology, referred to as a biobattery, could power small environmental sensors in remote forests. It promises a future where wildlife and electronics merge to monitor the planet's health. The electric eel can generate 860 volts. It is capable of leaping out of the water to attack terrestrial predators, sending a shock that stops their hearts. This journey takes it through the rivers of the Amazon, where it reigns supreme in the realm of energy. Its body is essentially a living biological battery composed of thousands of cells called electrocytes. Prince had the eccentricity of owning a pair of white doves named Majesty and Divinity. The birds lived in the atrium of his Paisley Park mansion and, according to his employees, stopped singing when he died. This eccentric artist believed the doves were guardians of his musical inspiration. Shaquille O'Neal became famous for his car collection, but he also owns a truck for his dogs. Well, he had a giant Ford F-650 customized with air conditioning and luxury beds for traveling with his pets. This eccentric character, known for his generosity towards animals, can't bear to leave his dogs at home when he travels. It shows that, for a man of his stature, the comfort of his pets is an engineering priority. The world's largest collection of animal ears belongs to a sound enthusiast. He has recorded and 3D modeled the ears of thousands of species to understand how each one perceives reality. This eccentric individual, known for his auditory obsession, has discovered that some insects hear with their feet. The Buddha's tooth is kept in a temple in Sri Lanka and is the country's most sacred object. It is said to have been rescued from Buddha's funeral pyre, and whoever possesses the tooth has the divine right to rule. This rare object, renowned for its political power, is paraded once a year on a gold-adorned elephant. Automate wristwatch has a life of its own. At the touch of a button or randomly, an enamel butterfly realistically flaps its wings across the dial. This invention, noted for its delicate nature, uses a mechanism that mimics the erratic flight of a real insect. The Sparrow 8 was a futuristic hot rod built as a design school project. It uses a Maserati V8 engine and lacks a windshield, forcing the driver to wear a helmet and aviator goggles. This strange car, known for its brutal sound, has a design reminiscent of the anatomy of a speedy insect. Rene Higuita underwent cosmetic surgery televised live across the country. He stated that he was tired of being the ugly Higuita and wanted to look like a movie star after his retirement. He changed his nose, chin, and skin in front of millions of viewers. It was one of the strangest moments in Latin American television, merging sports with the obsession with the perfect image. The world's largest collection of animal-shaped cookies has thousands of figures. One collector has preserved cookies of every species in the world, treating them with resin to prevent them from rotting. The collection includes everything from gingerbread elephants to sugar dinosaurs. The body of Saint Roch is protected by the image of a dog in all his sculptures. The story goes that a dog brought him bread every day while he died of the plague in a solitary cave. This rare object celebrates the spiritual connection between man and dog. Saint Roch is now the patron saint of dogs, and his tomb in Venice is visited by those who love their pets. The Sbarro flying car was a prototype that integrated actual folding wings into a small car. Franco Sbarro attempted to solve urban traffic problems by allowing the driver to take off from a straight road. It never reached mass production due to safety regulations. It was a true precursor to the personal air mobility that companies like Tesla and Uber are now trying to perfect. The Ulysses Nardin Freak wristwatch was the first to have no hands, dial, or crown. The mechanical movement itself rotates to indicate the time, acting as the main hand. This invention revolutionized 21st century watchmaking. It is a cutting-edge piece that breaks with all the traditional conventions of Swiss watch design. Dr. Atul Gerardo Murillo lived inside active volcanoes to paint their eruptions up close. He invented his own colors called Atul colors that could withstand the heat and ash without melting on the canvas. This eccentric individual lost a leg but continued climbing mountains to paint. His life was an ode to Mexican geology, uniting art with the fury of nature's wildest and most authentic form. The Panhard de Levasseur Dynamic was a luxury car with a centrally located steering wheel. Its Art Deco design included 3 windshields to enhance the driver's panoramic visibility. This car sought perfect symmetry in the cabin. Although elegant, the central configuration was impractical for passengers and production soon ceased. Japan boasts the world's most punctual train system with an average delay of 18 seconds. Its maglev trains use magnetic levitation to float above the tracks and reach speeds of 375 miles per hour. It offers an impeccable and clean transportation network. The neuromorphic brain on a chip mimics the structure of human neurons. Unlike conventional processors, it processes information using electrical impulses similar to our own. It consumes a fraction of the energy of a traditional server. It allows for the creation of intelligent systems that learn autonomously in real time with great efficiency. Priam's treasure was discovered in the ruins believed to be those of Troy. It includes gold diadems with thousands of links so small they resemble fabrics made of precious metal. This artifact was illegally removed from Turkey in 1873. Jorge Vergara bought the Chivas soccer team and banned brand advertising from the uniform. He wanted the team to be pure and focus solely on Mexican national talent, breaking with traditional marketing. This flamboyant individual used to travel in his own private plane, painted like a shark. Bull testicle ceviche is a variation of ceviche that uses bull testicles as its main ingredient. It is believed to provide superhuman strength and is traditionally consumed in cattle ranching areas of Mexico and Central America. It is prepared with plenty of lime and chili to balance the strong flavor. For many, it is taboo, but for rural culture, it is a source of vitality that is deeply respected. Christian Castro has the eccentricity of continuing to drink milk from a baby bottle despite being an adult. He has stated that it relaxes him before bed and that he doesn't care what people think of his childhood habits. He is also a heavy metal fanatic. The Dictionary of the Khazars is an unusual novel written in the form of an encyclopedia. The reader can read the articles in any order, and there are two versions of the book, one for men and one for women. This work differs by only one sentence between the two published versions. Electronic animal skin allows for the stress-free monitoring of endangered species. It's an ultra-thin, flexible patch that adheres to skin or scales, sending live health data via satellite. It allows you to know if a tiger is sick before it's too late. It helps biologists protect wildlife by intervening only when the animal truly needs it. The wandering albatross is capable of circumnavigating the globe in just 46 days of flight. They can fly thousands of miles without flapping their wings once, harnessing the energy of ocean waves. This journey keeps them at sea for years without ever touching land. They are the solitary navigators of the sky, possessing the largest wingspan of any real living bird. The alphabet of sea monsters is a 16th century map called the Carta Marina. Olaus Magnus drew horned whales and giant serpents on it, creatures that sailors swore they had seen. It blended fear of the unknown with real zoology. Today we know that many of those monsters were simply giant squid or whales that were misidentified. The 1951 Hoffman vehicle is considered by experts to be the worst car design in history. Its single rear wheel steered the vehicle, making it extremely unstable and impossible to drive. It had a noisy and inefficient engine. It represents a failed attempt to create an economical microcar that ignored all the laws of basic physics. Xi Jinping holds the record for the world's longest hair at 18 feet 5 inches. She has not cut her hair since 1973, when she was just a 13-year-old girl in China. She needs assistance to wash her hair. Her record demonstrates how a body part can be cared for decades until it becomes legendary. The Jericho skull is a 9,000-year-old human skull modeled in plaster. The ancient inhabitants of Jericho recreated the faces of their dead using shells for eyes, seeking to preserve the identity of the deceased. Damiana liqueur is a Mexican drink that is said to have powerful aphrodisiac effects for both men and women. The bottle is often shaped like a pregnant woman or a fertility goddess, paying homage to ancient culture. It is produced in Baja California using a desert plant. It is a typical gift for newlyweds, blending regional botany with the legend of real human desire. Rosalia is famous for her extremely long nails, decorated with real jewels and sensors. She has even worn nails that function like credit cards or have integrated LED lights for her videos. This star considers her hands an integral part of her choreography and expression. Dani Alves is the player with the most titles in history and is known for wearing neon-colored outfits. He often arrives at matches wearing mismatched shoes or giant sunglasses to break the team's tension. He believes football is a carnival and should be celebrated with color. The Van Cleef and Arpels Planetarium is a piece of astronomical jewelry. On its sphere, 6 gemstones represent planets revolving around the sun in real time. It takes 29 years to complete the orbit of its inner Saturn. The Stutz Bearcat was the first American high-performance sports car. It had no doors, windshield, or roof, prioritizing lightness to win the early Indy races. This strange car required drivers to wear goggles and leather hats. It became a symbol of status and rebellion for wealthy young men in the 1910s. Electronic ink, e-ink, uses charged microcapsules that mimic real paper. Unlike LED screens, it doesn't emit light and only consumes energy when the user turns the page. It allows reading in sunlight without annoying glare. It's an innovation that has saved book reading in the digital age by protecting the reader's eyesight. The New Horizons probe was the first to photograph Pluto up close in 2015. It traveled at such a high speed that it crossed the moon's orbit just 9 hours after launch. It revealed that the dwarf planet has a blue atmosphere and a giant core of frozen nitrogen. The Silla treasure consists of pure gold crowns found in tombs in Korea. They are shaped like trees and deer, symbolizing the connection between the earthly and spiritual worlds. It is made with extremely thin sheets of gold. Lee Redmond had the longest fingernails on both hands before losing them. His nails totaled 28 feet 5 inches in length, and it took him 30 years to grow them with olive oil. He could cook and drive despite his significant disability. He tragically lost his record in a traffic accident, but his molds are still on display in museums. The glozal tablets are clay plaques with an unknown script. They were found in France, and their authenticity has divided the scientific community for decades. This rare object suggests a forgotten European culture. The Tucker 48 vehicle included a third, central headlight that turned with the steering wheel on curves. Its creator, Preston Tucker, designed a car with safety features 20 years ahead of its time. Only 51 units were manufactured. Kazakhstan built its capital, Astana, from scratch in the middle of an empty steppe. It features futuristic buildings designed by Norman Foster, including a pyramid and a giant tent. It is the world's largest landlocked country. It is an example of how oil wealth can transform a desert into a science fiction metropolis. The E-skin is a flexible sensor that mimics human touch. It can detect pressure, temperature, and humidity, sending signals directly to prosthetics or robots. It's as thin as a tattoo. It promises a future where humans can sense digital objects with the same precision as real ones. Mike Lebecki's mission is to explore places on Earth where no one has been. He has undertaken more than 80 expeditions to uncharted territories, climbing virgin walls in Antarctica. This journey requires months of logistical and physical preparation. Lebecki seeks to demonstrate that there are still secrets to be discovered on our planet if we have the courage. Marcelo Rios, nicknamed El Chino, once urinated on journalists to avoid being interviewed. He was known for his explosive temper and for rejecting ATP protocols, becoming the first Latin American #1. He preferred to play with his own worn-out racket rather than use new brand-name models. His talent was as immense as his disregard for social norms, making him an anti-hero of world tennis. The Scripps Booth Biauto Go was a giant motorcycle with a V8 car engine. It had 2 small stabilizing wheels that deployed to prevent the vehicle from tipping over when stopped. It weighed over 2,000 pounds and was unmanageable. It is one of the most bizarre curiosities of an era when it was unclear whether the future would be on 2 or 4 wheels. Svetlana Pankratova has the longest legs in the world, measuring 4 feet 4 inches. Her total height is 6 feet 5 inches, but most of her body is made up of her lower limbs. She must buy custom-made clothing. Her record highlights the diversity of human proportions and how these can create athletic advantages. The Skull of Destiny is a transparent quartz crystal carved without markings. Although it was said to be 12,000 years old, modern analysis suggests it was made on lathes in the 19th century. It is famous for the legends surrounding its supposed curses. It remains one of the most controversial and beautiful pieces on display in world history museums. The Hublot Big Bang wristwatch was made entirely of synthetic sapphire crystal. Its complete transparency allows you to see every gear, spring, and screw from any angle. Cutting the hard stone requires state-of-the-art machinery. It is the pinnacle of structural design, transforming the internal machinery into the actual watch face. The vast CMR plasma engine uses gases heated to millions of degrees. Unlike chemical rockets, this engine could operate for months with extreme efficiency. It would allow the journey to be reduced to just 39 days. It is the great promise of space physics to transform us into a truly interplanetary species. The Cassini-Huygens mission successfully landed a probe on Titan, Saturn's moon. It discovered rivers and lakes of liquid methane on a surface that closely resembles that of early Earth. This amazing journey lasted 20 years before burning up on Saturn. The Czech crown jewels include the 14th century crown of St. Wenceslas. It possesses one of the world's largest sapphires and a curse that condemns to death anyone who wears it illegally. This rare object is only displayed on very special occasions. It is the ultimate symbol of Prague's identity and has survived invasions and totalitarian regimes. Vizcacha chicharrón is a delicacy in the Andean regions made with the meat of a mountain rodent. It has a flavor similar to rabbit, but with a firmer texture due to the animal's diet of wild herbs. This dish is difficult to find in large cities and is reserved for banquets. Camilo VI has the eccentricity of collecting jars of sand from every beach he visits. He claims that each grain of sand has a distinct energy that he uses to inspire him when writing songs in his studio. He also walks barefoot at his concerts to feel the vibration of the audience. Garry Kasparov was the world's #1 chess player for 255 consecutive months. He faced to the supercomputer Deep Blue in a historic battle between human mind and machine. This enigmatic individual revolutionized game theory. His legacy marked the beginning of an era where artificial intelligence began to surpass humans in calculations. The Eberswald treasure is Germany's most important collection of gold artifacts. It was looted by the Soviet army after the war and remained hidden in Russia for decades. It contains engraved bowls and bracelets. The Omega Speedmaster wristwatch is the only watch that has been on the surface of the moon. It passed all of NASA's extreme vacuum, pressure, and vibration tests without failing for a single second. It was essential for the safe return of the Apollo 13 mission. Lebanon is the only Arab country that does not have a desert within its entire national territory. It possesses the ancient cedar trees that were used to build the most famous temples of antiquity. It has a unique religious mix in the region. Its history is a journey through Phoenician, Roman, and Byzantine ruins that coexist with modernity. Synthetic spider silk is a material created in laboratories using bacteria. It is stronger than steel and more elastic than nylon, yet completely biodegradable and biocompatible. It mimics nature's strongest material. The Kon-Tiki expedition consisted of crossing about 4,349 miles of the Pacific Ocean on a wooden raft. Thor Heyerdahl wanted to prove that South Americans could have populated Polynesia using only the wind. This was filmed in a documentary that won an Oscar. The San Jose Galeon treasure is considered the largest sunken treasure in history. It contains millions of gold, silver, and emerald coins lying about 1969 feet deep in Colombia. It is valued at $17 billion. It represents the immense wealth that traveled from the colonies to Spain during the 18th century. Carlos Slim is known for not using computers or modern devices for his accounts. He prefers to keep his records in handwritten notebooks and wears an inexpensive plastic watch in his daily life. He demonstrates that real power does not require technological ostentation. He is the richest man in Mexico, living with an austerity that baffles other Silicon Valley billionaires. Kim Ung-yong is the child with the highest IQ, 210. At 3 years old, he was solving calculus equations, and at 8, he was invited by NASA to study in the US. He decided to leave science to live an ordinary life. His story sparks debate about the pressure child prodigies face and what success truly means. Cullen Man is a 2,400-year-old body preserved in a peat bog. His face is so intact that you can still see the wrinkles on his forehead and the hairs of his beard. He died by hanging as part of a sacred ritual. The chemistry of the Danish bogs mummified his skin, turning him into a vivid portrait of the Iron Age. Ozuna is an extreme fanatic of luxury watches, owning pieces that cost over $1 million. He has a safe deposit box that requires retinal recognition to protect his collection of the world's most exclusive brands. He considers watches to be safer financial assets than banks. Aerogel is the lightest solid in the world, composed of 99% air. It's such a powerful thermal insulator that it can protect a flower from the direct flame of a lit blowtorch. It's used to capture comet dust in space. It feels like frozen smoke to the touch. And this is all. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Zarpado facts.